to the No Life Digital Tech and Gaming Podcast. We got some news for you today, a little bit of news. We're going to talk about Jason Schreier's Blizzard story. Sony is going to get a lot of exclusive content from Marvel's Avengers. E3 2020 absence has had a little impact on the gaming industry. Sekiro has a free update. There's some Star Citizen drama. And we're going to talk about the Sakeesian Hotline. And then in tech, Apple has a new iMac available now. And the Canon R5. We got one in. I'll talk about my experiences with it. My little preview review. And then that'll be it. So we'll see if it's a shorter show this evening. So let's jump into the show. What's up, co-hosts?
Yo, how's it going?
Yo, what up?
Big news, dude. Having a kid.
True.
Having a little daughter. Little daughter. So, I don't know if you guys remember. I tried finding the episode on the show today, but I couldn't find it. I think maybe because it's only on Twitch. Maybe I forgot to put it up on YouTube or something. But there was an episode where Kate came in while we were filming this. And that was when she told me that we were having a child, that she was pregnant. And I thought that was pretty funny because we were in the middle of something and I was just like, guys, I don't think we're going to be able to finish the show. So
That's why you had to leave.
Yeah, when she told me that, I was like, how do you expect me to finish this episode? She was like, wait, we have to talk about something. And I already knew because I knew she was taking a pregnancy test. And then I was like, wait, are you pregnant? And she was like, yeah. And she was kind of freaking out a little bit. So I was like, how am I supposed to fucking finish this podcast? You couldn't wait like 20 minutes? And I'm going to try to find it. I don't remember what episode it was, but I think it was like before the Smash Bros episode. It's pretty fucking funny. So that's pretty exciting. Hey, thank you X202. Much love, baby. Let me see if I can find it really quick. But pretty excited about that. That's been a big little secret that I've been keeping from everyone, but now everyone knows. We found out the gender on Saturday. It is a girl. We definitely thought it was going to be a boy, but we were mistaken there. We were mistaken. It is a girl, and it should be here in February. We're stuck on between the names Penelope and Isla. I think we're leaning towards Isla, but who knows? I think I like Penelope better, but we'll see. Hey, thank you.
February birthdays, best birthdays.
Is that when your birthday is?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
By far the best birthdays.
There we
Facts.
go. Well, you got Christmas right there. And then you get some extra gifts like a month later. That's not bad.
Exactly, but it's also just perfectly long enough that it's far enough away from Christmas for people to not just lump it with Christmas.
Yeah. It's definitely like way after that, where it's like if they give it to you and you're like, wait a second, Christmas was months ago. Cheapo. So that's good. What is the sign? What are you? What is that? A Capricorn? A fucking Cancer corn? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, Cancer corn, dude. I don't fucking know. I think
horoscope. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
February horoscope sign.
I think it's like half and half, but I don't fucking
Oh, it is
know,
Capricorn. Oh no, it's not. It's Aquarius. It would be an Aquarius. It's the age of Aquarius or a Pisces, depending on the day. But mostly Aquarius.
Yeah, that sounds right.
All right, and we're in the age of Aquarius. That works out. It's a sign. So I'm excited. We're excited.
I can't help but think of the song from 4-Year-Old Virgin.
Age of Aquarius?
It's the age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
I'm a Leo, so.
Have you ever seen Dewey Cox? Walk Hard?
You don't want none of this, Dewey Cox.
Don't they sing like an Aquarius song in that?
You never once paid for drugs. Once.
Honestly, I think it's the most underrated movie ever made.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So good. It's literally just this guy who goes on this journey through music, through time. He's supposed to be like the Walk Hard. Not Walk Hard. Is it Walk Hard or Walk the Line?
It's a parody of like all of those music document like the Ray Charles one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
it's a parody of the documentaries, but then it's centered on Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Like that's the character.
Yeah. And it's just him going through different ages of drugs, and then how the drugs influence his music and how they basically lose. Oh, it's so fucking good, dude.
There's the Beatles era where he's doing like all the psychedelics.
Yeah.
And it's was it Chris Parnell? It's like, I'll let you have sex with my wife. I'll let you have sex with me.
Yeah. Such a fucking underrated movie.
Oh, it's one of the funniest movies.
It really is. I think what's his name? John C. Reilly is probably one of the funniest dudes in Hollywood. He's fucking so funny. Anyways, that's been my thing going on.
I'm really happy that I was able to put my camera basically this tight of a shot, because you can't tell right now if I ever start cheering. I have hockey right here and right here.
So you've been, Jerry's been watching hockey. Dude, you've been watching the Sixers?
I watched the Sixers both against the Pacers, which sucked, and then the redemption arc of Shake Milton nailing that 3-pointer, even though we should not have been that close in a fourth quarter lead, like letting a fourth quarter lead like that go against the Spurs.
I know.
Does not bode well, but it was nice to see Shake Milton redeem himself from that awful first game.
Yeah.
And then the Flyers kicking the Bruins' teeth in was nice.
Yeah.
Losing Michael Raffle kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But
I haven't seen any hockey yet.
I will admit those are the games I've been watching the least, because
they don't really matter.
Exactly. Well, they do, but they really don't. It's still like exhibition light, where it's like I don't care.
Yeah.
What's good
Meanwhile,
for them
like
is
right now, Calgary is playing Winnipeg, and they're both trying to murder each other. This is much more entertaining.
Oh yeah, what's good for the round robins is that they only play 3 games each before they do playoffs. It reseeds, but they also get to pretty much play against the best teams.
Wait, how do you watch it? Do you
to fine tune?
Do you guys have like a hockey subscription, or do you have like a streaming service you use?
I have Comcast with all of the pretty much. I have all the sports channels on Comcast.
You pay for
Comcast?
Comcast?
I can watch through there.
I switch. It depends, because
I'm gonna put the game on too.
I switch up. Sometimes I pay for it. Sometimes I have some special services I use.
Oh,
it really
special
depends.
services, of course.
Dude, that Blackhawks.
Well, it also
Oilers.
depends. Like right now, I'll probably go. I'm going through NHL just because the way. So the NHL is really dumb in their streaming services.
As with all of them.
Right. It's all just it's because of media blackout.
Yeah.
So right now, even though I'm living in Georgia, I still haven't bothered changing my government address. So my bank is still in Michigan. So if I buy through NHL, I can't watch Red Wings games.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Because of media blackout.
Yeah.
Yep.
But now that I'm here right now, Red Wings aren't playing, I can watch them all.
Yeah.
The other thing is sometimes I'll go through other services.
I mean,
just
do you really
because,
want to watch the Red Wings this year?
Yeah, I watched every single game.
I know.
I did.
I feel so bad for you.
It was its own fun ride, to be honest. It sucked, but it was also like they're as bad as we were. It's still kind of fun to make fun of the bad players, and there's still some really good players. So there was stuff to watch.
Yeah.
It was just its own thing. But the point I was getting to is sometimes I use the special services, we'll call them, because it's still hockey, and I'm watching half of these games on Sportsnet from Canada, because I'm going to be real with you, like NBC sucks for hockey. I still don't get how they have the whole package. Like Doobie, I'm pretty sure you guys have to watch through NBC because they have the rights anyway.
NBCS.
Yeah, that's fucking
for Flyers. We watch. I mean, it depends. Like,
do you have a Fox Sports?
What used to be Comcast Sportsnet is now NBC Sportsnet.
Yeah, fuck that, dude.
But I mean,
a lot of the NBC crews.
But it's not like I have to listen to what's the guy's name, the awful commentator from
Pierre?
NHL.
You don't have to deal with Pierre.
I get to listen to like
no, you saw local
and our local broadcast is really good.
No, because I've listened to a lot of them. I'm still a Fox Sports camp for the U.S. because like we got Fox, like all of the Fox Sports do way better than NBC does, in my opinion. And NBC national coverage sucks ass. But then you get into the Canadian coverage of Sportsnet, some minor TSN, and then you get, even when the NBC's actually in Canada, they still send sports, like former Sportsnet or Hockey Night in Canada people, and they just do so much better.
Yeah,
they do so much better.
They really are trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, dude, no, this series has been a bloodbath. It's been amazing.
I still can't believe that that first. I don't know if they've played yet again, but that first Blackhawks Oilers game.
Yeah, they played again, and it still was just as much of a shit show. This time, though,
McDavid
Edmonton
just
won.
did not look great.
Oh, don't worry, McDavid came back and scored a hat trick.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and the
okay.
game 2, Edmonton won 6-3.
So
it's
great.
still
It's gonna be a fun back and forth.
That series has been fun because no one knows how to play defense.
I'd rather see the Oilers win. Blackhawks beat the Flyers in the Stanley Cup Finals, so screw the Blackhawks. Yeah. There's a few those matches though that I really have no idea who I want to win. But between Columbus and Toronto?
Oh, I want dude. That is the worst series in the world because I want Columbus to win. I really like Columbus, but I
hate Torts.
I love Torts, to be honest.
No, I can't say. I mean, I'm a Flyers fan. He was the head coach of the Rangers for how long?
Oh, that's fair.
I don't like Torts.
That's fair. I don't care about that. For me, it's like I like his systems. He is the only person who has ever made trap hockey actually fun to watch. Because a lot of these teams try to do trap, and it's the most abysmal shit ever to watch. I hate watching trap hockey, and he at least has figured out a way to make it semi-entertaining, and that's mostly just because Seth Jones is amazing.
I've got a friend who's a Leafs fan, so even he's like, listen, I hate Tort's style of hockey, but if it works, it works, and if he was my coach, I'd want it to work too.
Yeah, it's not even so much that it works. He at least makes it entertaining. But the Jackets playing trap is way better than the Minnesota Wild. Watching their games, it's effective as hell. It's the most boring fucking shit you're ever gonna watch. But no, the point I was getting to is I like Columbus, even though they're from Ohio and Ohio sucks. But at the same time, I also now have to want Toronto to win, even though I hate Toronto because I don't want Toronto to get laugh. Because thanks, NHL. So that's the hard part is whoever loses this series is going to get the first overall draft pick because thanks, NHL.
Yeah, that makes no sense. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, it's so fucking dumb.
Sense. All right,
we can actually get back to everything else. Sorry for the hockey break. It's been great. I love it.
Yeah, sports
Fuck the
coming
NHL
back
though
is
for
nice.
the whole draft.
Sports coming back is nice. Do you think we're gonna? Do you guys think we're gonna get an NFL season?
No, I almost hope not.
We're
I'm waiting
we're
for
cutting
baseball
close.
to get canceled.
We're cutting.
Yeah,
it
I'm
close.
surprised baseball still hasn't been canceled. Because I will say the thing that hockey got into a lot of trouble because before they got to the bubble, they were getting a lot of cases, but ever since they've been in training camp and bubbled up, it's been zero. They've been completely clean.
Yeah, it's like the NBA. The bubble is the way to do it, and those sports are beneficial in that they can do a bubble. I don't think you can do a bubble for the NFL just based solely on how many players there are.
It's so big. They can't go to London.
I think you could,
not including practice squads.
I think you could still do a bubble. It's just you can't do. Okay, so the way NHL is doing it is there's 2 bubbles. I don't think you could do that. But I mean, if you said, hey, here's every division is its own bubble or something like that, I think you could pull off. It is harder though when you have a 16-team schedule.
There's a 16-game schedule,
17.
and they only 17, and they only play their division rivals 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of the season, they're not playing their rivals. So
true. No, I do agree that
you would have to bubble it by, and even if you did bubble it like that, you'd have to bubble the AFC and the NFC.
I think you could. It would cost extra money, but I think you could make the travel work.
The only plus side for the NFL is
but would it cost more money?
One game.
Go ahead. I mean, it's going to cost them a lot more money now that Matthew Stafford's got fucking COVID and.
Oh yeah.
I was saying, how much do you think it'll cost them if they just don't have a season? You know.
A lot.
True.
There's a lot of money, a lot of TV money that they'd lose out on. That's why they want to do it. Even if they don't have fans in the stands.
Well, then that's why I think they should do the bubble.
Money is a lot.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're in the position where they have a TV deal, so they can do a bubble and be fine. The issue with a lot of the sports currently is a lot of the lower leagues are getting completely fucked because they rely on traffic, and you can't have traffic right now.
You can't have a AA or a AAA baseball team essentially right now. You can't do the G League. I don't even know if they're even doing anything. And then you have all the affiliate hockey organizations.
Yeah, and then even in Europe, some of them were trying to open up, and some of them are fucking up. It's a
and
mess.
That's the thing with football is that, like, for me, I think the only way they can get around it is they only play one game per week. It's not like your hockey or basketball where you're playing 2 or 3 games a week. You're only playing 16 games.
Yeah.
You're going to have to you're going to have to keep a tight fist.
And there's so many players.
On testing, on keeping players on it. Like, that's the best way if they want to do it, is they have to pretty much bubble their own players.
Like, how many people that are working?
And I will say, having watched all the rest of the sports, rich, dumb, young Americans don't do that.
Oh God, no! They'd rather go, to the strip club for chicken wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the middle of the pandemic.
And it's like,
because chicken wings.
How big is a team's like entire organization? Even if you were to cut out like some non-essential workers that work on the team, the NFL is still like, these teams are huge, man.
Are we including front office? Including trainers?
Yeah, you'd have to include trainers.
Staff that work, that work on the practice squad, the practice field.
Yeah, you'd have to include it's massive. There's so much more.
I would guarantee you, between players and coaches and specialized coaches and specialized trainers, I would estimate that each team roughly has about 125 people at least.
At least. I mean, it's huge.
53 players, I think.
And if even if you're cutting out like some non-essentials, like maybe you don't need like 3 trainers.
That's the flip side, is you can't cut down the players either. Because that's the thing that the NHL's doing right now, is there's actually more players, because if any of them get sick, they have to be replaced.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is like, you could probably get rid of some of the marketing people. You could probably get rid of
like some of this extra staff, just some of the extra staff that controls the team. But it's still huge.
Yeah, you can do that easily, because that again, going back to NHL, that's what they're doing right now. Even right now, the Flyers Bruins game, for example, they have basically their teams, their coach, their general manager, and the health training staff. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, your announcers aren't even there. All of the announcers in all of these games so far are literally still at their home studio getting the feed before it goes out onto TV.
Yeah, that's the life.
Like,
that would be the life.
Just do that.
They probably are loving that.
Yeah, for real. They have the entire fucking arena to themselves, basically.
All right. Yeah, sports coming back is nice. It is a little goofy, but it's nice. What else? Anything else? I think that's pretty much it in terms of outside news. Oh, did you guys see that fucking place that blew up today in Beirut? Have you not seen it?
But not really.
I saw the footage.
All right, we're going to play some of it here. It's so insane.
Really?
Oh, yeah, you got to see it. Death toll keeps climbing. So I don't think they know exactly what it is, but it looks like a fireworks facility. But the bomb, like the explosion that goes off, is so big, it's hard to believe it's a firework. So I think like maybe the fireworks exploded and then triggered like some type of gas line or something. And is
it a production facility, or is it?
I don't really know. I don't think anyone knows.
If it's a production facility, they probably have like an armory full of gunpowder, which would be a bomb.
This looks like a
things
nuke.
I've read online is
this looks like a fucking nuke. So this is Washington Post.
Israel has constantly said that they believe that they've been storing like munitions and explosive weapons in that area of Beirut. But that's what, like I said, that's what Israel's saying.
I mean,
so take that with a grain of salt.
And that's the thing, is like, it's hard because it's like, you can see the fireworks, right? You can see like some of like the little explosions going off before the big explosion hits. But like the monumental like force that comes out of this it's gigantic, and it like there's so much devastation that was left afterwards. There's so much there's so many different camera angles from people just like filming it, like, oh man, look at this thing that's on fire, and they just get blown back. It's insane, man. It was
enormous explosion.
It was it's pretty fucking crazy. Let me see if I can find. I just want to show just the There you go. So you kind of get the idea of like the force of it. It looks like they dropped a nuke on this thing. It's so nutty. And then like the force field kind of like pushes outwards. So it doesn't look like it's just fireworks. But I don't know. It could be. I guess if you have like that much.
That's pretty darn impressive.
I guess if you. Yeah, it is impressive. I guess if you had pretty much a. Like a whole cache of gunpowder. I think it would probably blow up like that. Depending on how much gunpowder is there. But why would you just store it like that? I feel like you'd store it in a manner that is, not prone to explosion. Basically, I don't think it's just like a basement filled with gunpowder, unless there's something that maybe was sabotage going on. But it's crazy. And there's some other footage out there that if you want to go find it. There's footage of like people on the highway like filming it, and then you can just see it like this mushroom cloud covering the sky. Insanity. So there's the other news that just happened recently. It just like took out the entire portion of that city, which is crazy, man. And considering the blast size, it says about 70 people killed, more than 3,000 injured. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's like the size of like an attack. So there you go. A little explosion there. And that's, oh man, this is nuts. Look at these people. Look at these cars flipped over. All right. And I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else. Moving on. Blizzard workers share salaries in revolt over wage disparities. This is fascinating to me. This kind of stuff. Jason Schreier, Bloomberg now. He's no longer Kotaku. Employees at Blizzard Entertainment, a division of Activision, began circulating a spreadsheet on Friday to anonymously share salaries and recent pay increases. The latest example of rising tension in the video game industry over wage disparities and executive compensation. Blizzard, based in Irvine, California, makes popular games including... Yes, we know what Blizzard is. Blizzard implemented the results in 2019 after an internal survey revealed that more than half of the Blizzard workers were unhappy with their compensation. The company told staff it would perform a study to ensure fair pay, according to people familiar with the situation. Blizzard implemented the results of the study last month, which led to an outcry of the company's internal Slack message boards. One employee then created a spreadsheet and encouraged staff to share their compensation information. The anonymous document, reviewed by Bloomberg News, contains dozens of purported Blizzard salaries and pay bumps. Most of the raises are below 10%, significantly less than Blizzard employees said they expected following the study. Quote, our goal has always been to ensure we compensate our employees fairly and competitively, Activision Blizzard spokeswoman Jessica Taylor said. We are constantly reviewing compensation philosophies to better organize the talent of our highest performers and keep us competitive in the industry, all with the aim of rewarding and investing more in top employees. And I don't think they've released the sheet. I think just Jason Schreier might have it, or maybe he's just gotten the leak that they were circulating it. I know he posted something on it on his Twitter. Let me see if I can find it.
That also might be something we don't see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, which it would make sense if they don't show that. I know he sent... Oh, here's something right here. So this is from, I guess, a Blizzard employee. She says, fuck it. I hope this helps other folks in the industry. Hashtag game dev paid me. About me, Persian, cis, female, 26. Blizzard internship is $16.75 an hour. Blizzard Associates PM. Blizzard Associate PM. What is a PM? PM. Maybe some type of manager. Associate manager, maybe. $59,000. Blizzard PM, $74,000. Riot PM, $134,000. Riot PM 2, $163,000. So there's like almost double. Riot's paying almost double for basically, I guess, that same position is what she's trying to say. Yeah, more than double. Yeah,
more than double.
almost. Yeah, maybe like 2.5. I
wonder if it's 60 versus what 150. Yeah, 74 or 160. 60 to 134, 74 to 163. So, yep, she's literally paid half as much.
Yeah,
if that is true.
Now, I think that's
which wouldn't surprise me, honestly, because Activision Blizzard is not the good old Blizzard that I love.
Yeah, Now I wonder. Now that's important. Now that just that information getting out there, because I don't see any other stats. Like I don't see any other hard numbers coming to on Jason Schreier's report or on his Twitter, and just that little bit of information kind of tells like a big story. So anyone that is kind of working there,
Especially when your CEO is one of the richest paid CEOs, period.
yeah. Do we know his
Isn't it
numbers?
like 150, 160 million a year?
I don't know. I know here it says CEO is 1.75 million. I don't know what that is though. And then it says he got 29 million in bonus and stock. That's what this one stat here from Jason Schreier. I'll put it up here, guys. Sorry.
So what, 130? 130 million a year?
Yeah, about. I'm assuming that's his salary is 1.7, and then he gets 29 million in just bonus and just his stock holding.
So that investment group that was going after them too, he's been getting averaged about 20 million or more for every year for the past 4 years of stock option equity.
Yeah, and that's like, oh, man, if you are a Blizzard employee now and you see these numbers.
And you know your CEO's a multi-billionaire at this point.
Yeah, and he's
4 years, basically.
It makes you really kind of think about other opportunities. Now, I think
if you're only paying, if your Activision and your interns are only making $16.50, that's insane to me.
It's just like
Dude, the government internships more, like twice that for the same type of work.
Yeah, and I think
and that's on the low end.
I think salaries they do need to make more salaries public. I think salaries should be. I mean, we've talked about this has been like a thing since since Obama basically came into office, is making more of this salary information public information and more. I don't know what they call it, like workplace compensation, I guess, workplace compensation exposure or something like that. Making it just easier for employees to talk about their salaries with each other, because some places you're not even allowed to talk about how much you make to other employees. I think that is an antiquated system. It does need to go. You're just not getting the best of the best. I get like some companies, they want the cheapest labor possible, and they want to screw anyone over and trying to get that, and they want everything to be a secret because the CEO of that company is just going to take all the money. It is what it is, but overall, I think there shouldn't be anything stopping someone from saying, "Oh, I make this much at this company. Oh, I make this much from this company." It's like more than double. As a
WoW player, dude, the quality of Blizzard's gone down massively in years, and this doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of their games, the quality's just gotten worse, honestly.
This isn't going to increase the salaries of these people. You know what I mean? It's just going to funnel more of that talent over to other companies like Riot, who are paying more than double the salary for the same position. Now, and obviously, it's competitive
even more toxic workplace environment. So
yeah, and that's kind of something too. Like, I'm interested in seeing like if that's why Riot seems to kind of maybe put up with more of that stuff, because maybe they are getting more at the higher end of the salary. Someone that comes from Blizzard and goes to Riot, and they're like, "Wow, I'm making more than double. Maybe I'll put up with more of this crunch just because I am making so much more, and I know that I could be making a lot less."
It's not even the crunch. It's fucking Riot, dude. How many goddamn scandals have they had a year over sexual harassment, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah. Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't even talking about the crunch. I was more going like, no, literally, it's well documented by this point that Riot's the definition of a toxic work environment.
Yeah. And now we know why maybe someone would put up with it, making a hell of a lot more than over at Blizzard, So, I would like to see the number. I wish that paper would get disseminated. I would like to see like all the salaries there. I'm very curious. Blizzard has so this is what he said on this tweet. Blizzard staff put together an anonymous spreadsheet Friday to compare salaries And pay raises is a part of an open revolt against low compensation. CEO Bobby Kotick makes $40 million a year. Some Blizzard employees say they can't even make ends meet. Blizzard has long had a reputation for underpaying its workers, although some senior staff can make well over $100,000 a year. Members of many departments have struggled. Lots of, oh my God, there's this fucking moth.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane to me. Because your average rate over in California, it's not difficult to make over 100K a year in California as programming.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not. It's like standard.
Yeah.
Because that's the price of living in California.
Yeah. I mean, how do you live on, what was the other one? What was the other salary? $59,000 a year. You can't live in California on that.
Not
Maybe
really.
barely.
I mean,
barely.
you could, but that's like, well, it also depends if you're also, okay, so you're over in Irvine, you're Silicon Valley, so
Your rent's like $3,000 a month.
Your rent's about $2,500 a month to probably still have roommates.
Yeah. And that's not food. That's just the rent.
And travel to get to your job.
Yep. It's fucking crazy. To work at Blizzard Activision. To Blizzard employees, both current and former, who want to talk more about the wage disparity, contact Jason Schreier at protonmail.com. So hit him up if you want to know more. He's covering this. This is what he does. He's helping y'all out. He's on your side. So there you go. That's crazy. The pay disparity, man.
Yeah.
And that's not just gaming. It's, this is kind of where we're touching on it.
Like that's Activision though. Let's be real. I've been very staunch anti-Activision for a long time because they ruined Blizzard, dude. They ruined the best game studio. Straight up.
Yeah.
For fucking COD.
Screwdriver says there will be a lot more dispute and jealousy and no work done at the end. If you want more money, you need to ask for it. One should know what one's time and work is worth. Am I wrong? No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But the problem is that no one knows.
It also doesn't mean they're going to pay you.
Yeah, and you also just don't know. There's so much more power in the one that gives the salary. And that's why this stuff got leaked, because I think the disparity was just way too high. And I think when people were probably leaving Blizzard and going to other gaming companies, they're probably like, dude, I'm making like more than twice as much at this company. It seems like Blizzard's really holding back. And I think a lot of them were probably like, hold on a second. Well, how much are you making? How much are you making? This guy over here at Riot's making almost 3 times as much. That's why that kind of spins out, and that's why you get all this pay disparity stuff. So it makes sense that too got leaked out like that.
Well, and also I can see there being tons of turnover on the low end at Blizzard.
Sure.
I mean, while I'm here spouting about how it's evil Activision Blizzard nowadays, like 6 years ago, like, dude, you would kill to work at Blizzard because they were doing really cool shit. Every single one of their games were amazing. Like everyone, the old guard of Blizzard seemed all like a very good place to work and seemed like good people.
Yeah, and they take advantage of that.
Like,
they take advantage of that.
There is still that old mystique that now even though the old guard's gone now, there's still that like mystique of, hey, this is such a cool company. Of course, I'm going to take this opportunity, even though you shouldn't, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tricky, and then just like in terms of like a business standpoint, you don't want your employees leaking things. If you're really pounding them that hard on their salaries, then this stuff is definitely just bound to happen. And it's just if you're Bobby Kotick and you're the CEO, it's just like a bad move. It looks so bad, and you're just gonna leak talent. You're gonna leak talent. You're gonna get shit talent. And eventually, your product's going to suffer. You're going to lose money. Your investors are going to drop, and your company could go under. And that can happen in like a year,
Oh, and they've been leaking talent for a long time.
I'm sure.
Like, that's what I'm talking about, the old guard of Blizzard being gone. Like, anyone that made WoW special is been long gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame.
But that's still a draw because you still have... Now you have job openings at the company that you've had people playing the same game for 15 years of, and they consider an important part of their life. So they're going to jump at that. They're going to jump the shark, jump right in.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go with that story. Sony to get exclusive content for Marvel's Avengers. Oh, there's another Sony story about exclusives or something. Unless we touched on it. I don't think we did. So Marvel, when is this coming out? Do we know when this game is coming out? September, so soon.
September 4th?
And they're getting a timed exclusive? Marvel's Avengers.
It's not, as far as I know, it's not timed.
It's not timed. Exclusivity on Sony Superpower. Marvel's Avengers on PS4 or PS5 gets timed exclusive cosmetics for each hero. Oh, I see.
Cosmetics as well as Spider-Man. Specifically, exclusively to the PS4, PS5.
Okay.
Post-launch.
That's nothing
And
new.
it's made a lot of people, like, because it's also coming to Xbox and PC. But a lot of people are like, well, if Spider-Man is exclusive to Sony's PS4, and they haven't announced any exclusive characters to PC or to Xbox, it's kind of making the argument, why would you buy it on any other platform?
It's the Nintendo strategy. Like, because they've done that too. Of here's exclusive characters for buying it on Switch.
Remember Soul Calibur 2?
Yeah.
Had Link. Link was exclusive to the GameCube version.
Yeah, but there was also like an exclusive PS4.
There was
PC
an exclusive PS2 and an exclusive Xbox character as well.
Yeah.
Or Spawn, I think, was exclusive to
I forget.
the Xbox One, or Yoda was. Somebody was.
Wasn't Geralt exclusive to PC? I think.
I don't even remember. No. And Geralt didn't come to Soul Calibur till 6, but yeah.
Oh.
No, and Geralt you can play on PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Because I played him 100 times. I
don't know. This game, I saw the last, was it War table they did? It seems okay. It just it's nothing really there for that's made me want to go, yeah, I want to get this game.
I mean, what do you think about these exclusive things like this? To compensate, I'm assuming they got money for this. You know what I mean? I'm assuming there was some sort of monetary value in making an exclusive character for PlayStation. And
probably it's not going to be, and that's the thing, is this isn't Insomniac's version of Spider-Man. This is Crystal Dynamics' version of Spider-Man. You don't know how it's going to look or play or sound, but it's exclusive to Sony because Spider-Man did so well for Sony that it makes sense that they would pay the money to grab that as an exclusive character.
Yeah.
But it's not. But it has no relevance on the story. There's no story stuff for Spider-Man that, like, you know.
No, it's.
I don't know. Like they've been draining that Avengers, the Avengers franchise for so long now. Like they just announced that the post-launch hero is going to be Hawkeye. I don't know. Like if I wanted to get excited about this, say to me, "Oh, hey, Wolverine is coming." Mm-hmm. Like throw X-Men in here or something. But at this point, it's just, I don't know. Maybe I have Avengers fatigue.
Yeah, you're all Avengered out.
Dude, I haven't even seen the movies and I'm Avengered out. So yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Same.
I feel like this is like I feel like an Avengers game like this may have done better with recognition like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
probably.
It's definitely a little
at the
late.
height of the Avengers event, like Infinity War Endgame popularity.
Yeah.
Dude, well, now it's just the inverse of every video game movie, where now we have the movie video game 5 years after. They both suck.
Yeah.
It's like when Lego Harry Potter came out, like 6 years after Harry Potter. Yeah.
Not wrong. I think it'll sell well. I think people.
And that was actually probably a better game than this will be.
Yeah. I think enough people still like the Avengers enough that they'll buy this game. But
I mean, it looks interesting. It doesn't look bad, you know. I haven't seen this roundtable you're talking about.
They went into
this is not a game for me, so I'll hold my comments, I guess.
It definitely is like the more of the games as a service kind of Destiny to kind of, we're gonna keep updating this game. Here's the game at launch. You pay $60 for it, but we're gonna keep feeding in you free content, which is what I'm afraid that Halo is gonna do. Which almost kind of is guaranteed at this point.
Yeah, but I feel like Halo, because it is such a, you know, a monumental title for Xbox, they're not going to do it in a sleazy way. You know what I mean?
Hopefully. Well, they need to do it that way because they need people to keep coming back.
True.
Yeah,
And I guess I don't know. Like for me, usually the multiplayer is what
Well,
keeps people
but
coming back.
and this
but-
this here's yeah, exactly. This is what if we want to go back into Blizzard La La Land world. This has been the current fight. Is that's part of the decline of WoW and other Blizzard games, and in my opinion, games like Destiny and all these others that have come to the market is the time gating and like the idea of like, oh, there's got to be this hook that keeps you coming back every week or this or that or some little carrot on a stick bullshit that frustrates you to actually do it. When in reality, if you just make the good game, people are just going to keep playing the good fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there is a counter argument that a dev there could have for hopefully Halo that, hey, if we just make the game really good and keep releasing new stuff for it, they'll keep playing it. It doesn't have to have the gotcha
gimmicks.
time sink, money sink.
Yeah.
Hopefully, but that is the easy route that seems to just work and just leaves you with a disgruntled fan base, but a larger fan base.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how Halo kind of goes about that. I mean, this Avengers game, from what I see, looks like I don't know. It looks like an RPG almost. Like it looks like a quick sort of like kind of like how Spider-Man was. It does kind of look like how Spider-Man was, except now he plays all the Avengers. It's probably not going to be as polished, but it doesn't look terrible. I will say that it does kind of look.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't look terrible, but it's
kind of a good idea.
It's weird. I don't know. Like I see what you're. Yeah, because it does seem very. Oh yeah, I'm watching the same video. That's funny. It does seem very RPG-ish. You're right. Even more so, way more so than Spider-Man. Spider-Man wasn't that RPG-ish to me.
No, it wasn't.
But
it had some elements, but for the most part, it's like this is like you
and the
gear up your team
gameplay-wise-
and then kind of go against people like with your team that's all geared up and customized, and that could be kind of cool.
yeah, I mean, it could be, but it's just not my type of game. I don't know. It does definitely have a lot of Spider-Man looking elements to it.
Yeah.
It even has the same exact stupid hitboxes when missiles are shot at you. So there is probably some
Yeah, it's very similar.
some things being shared between the two companies.
You know, I might
but-
check it out. I mean, it looks kind of fascinating. Plus, like, I guess Cyberpunk is the next game that everyone's kind of waiting for. I don't think there's really anything else.
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep waiting for Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get Cyberpunk. When is Cyberpunk coming out now? I forget.
3 years.
It got delayed again, but I forgot when it got delayed to. Is it October now? It's not September anymore, right? Or is this later in September? No one even knows. That's terrible. Come on, Cyberpunk.
November 19th.
Oh, okay,
I
November.
think it's November now.
Damn. That's a long ways away. All right.
You gotta get it ready for those next gen systems.
I guess, yeah. I guess. Imagine.
And, hey, dude, take as much time as you want. If you make the game better, take the time.
Yeah, Clover Mocha says that okay, but the Lego games though, they're super fun. They are pretty good. I haven't played the Harry Potter one, but I have played the Star Wars one.
Oh no, I was saying I think the Lego Harry Potter's game is probably a better game than this.
Sony on PS5 exclusives. We can't take everyone with us from previous gens. A big pillar of our company is innovation. I love it. Good job, Sony. I like this. I like this statement. Look, we got to make some games. They're just not going to work on older platforms because the tech is just doesn't work on the older platform. Sorry, not going to happen. I'm okay with it. I'm fine with
Other
that.
controllers are not going to work. Like the PS4 controllers won't work on PS5 games, which makes sense.
Yeah.
What are they adding that's new?
Apparently, whatever the DualShock, the DualSense is.
Yeah,
with
it's like
the
that
haptic
motion.
triggers and stuff.
Yeah, the haptic. Yeah, or whatever. Like it's kind
what
of with
they
the
did
I
Switch.
didn't
say-
know they were adding anything. So it's like if they're not even adding anything, no, that doesn't make sense to me. But okay.
And what they did say though is that when it comes to accessories, I think they said most arcade sticks that work with PS4 will work with PS5. Which in the past, when it was like from PS2 to PS3 or PS3 to PS4, unless that specific stick like was designed to work with PS3 and PS4 in mind, you couldn't use a PS3 stick with a PS4. But now that they're able to essentially not guarantee, but tell you that most sticks will work, that's really big for a fighting game community when it comes to accessories.
Yeah.
All
But
10
I saw
of
the
them
Xbox,
that are left.
And all right, everyone that's alive and not in jail. But Xbox
that makes
recently,
sense. Xbox said you could do it, right?
Well, Xbox, they're trying to throw some shade, and we're like,
They're the opposite.
every controller that works with the Xbox One will work with the Series X.
I think that's a big thing because that makes sense. Because me sitting here, it's like, all right, so you went from AMD Jaguar or Bulldozer Tech, which is a PC, to now a new Navi, which is a PC. There's absolutely no reason other than wanting that any of these USB controllers shouldn't work.
Yeah, when you look at the price of controllers, because if you want to
Especially when they cost $80 to
$100.
$100, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it also makes sense because Microsoft put out that super expensive controller you can modulate with the module stuff.
Yeah, the Elite or whatever.
Yeah, which was like what, $160? Imagine having to buy a new one of those. Yeah, imagine having to buy a new one of those just for your new console. It's like,
True.
no.
Well, no, that's why that doesn't make sense. The controller side and stuff like that doesn't make sense to me. Just because I get why for the 3 to the 4, the 3 to the 4 was actually completely different architecture. Like the cell chip or whatever it was still an AMD chip, but it wasn't like here's an x86 PC part, which all of these are. It was something completely different, proprietary, switching to an x86 Jaguar chip, basically. So this is just like it's a PC upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
So your USB 3 mouse should still work with both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, Xbox is going that route. They said it's all
like I could still plug in a 1982 IBM Model M into my fucking computer right now and it works.
Yeah.
What you doing there? So yeah, that part's a little bizarre to me. I can understand some games, even though I think you should still be able to just do a low-res version, but whatever.
Well, that's what I've been arguing for consoles forever. Like, just put like a slot, like the PC settings on there. Because I hate 24 frames games. You know what I mean? I hate 30 frame games. If I can drop it down to like 720 and play at 60, I would do that for every game. And I don't know why they don't allow that. They really kind of just lock you in. This is what the game is, and this is how it is. Maybe there's a limitation there that I'm not aware of, but I would love like more graphical settings, audio settings, controller settings on all games, all console games.
I agree with that, and like, I think you can definitely make that argument a lot more nowadays because it's a PC, dude. They're all just mini PCs at this point.
Yeah,
you should just be able to do that. It should be weird. It would probably be weird to code it in settings wise, but yeah. I don't know. That's weird to me. I don't understand that marketing strategy. Oh, I do, but oh well.
But it's more of like a marketing.
Well, because
it's not good for marketing. Essentially, yeah. In terms of like marketing, it's no one really. That's why Microsoft is marketing oppositely. We're like, hey,
right.
We'll take on any old platform. It'll work on there. Where this is like
but actual sales wise, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
because it forces upgrades.
This way, it's like you have to move
the
up.
The controller thing, that is fucking dumb. That's
dumb. I don't know what else. I know that this controller has like some haptics in it, and it's utilizing a lot of what the Switch did with the Joy-Cons. I'm curious though how far that goes. Because if it's like how the haptics are on like a driving game, like a driving wheel. That would be really fucking cool.
I mean, yeah, it could be cool, but
But I don't know. No one really knows what it is.
It's still the idea. It still takes me back to like N64 Rumble packs, where I should just be able to take off the Rumble pack and just use a regular fucking controller.
You just want the Rumble pack feature, the Rumble pack I forgot those were a thing.
Well, no, like that's what
The
I'm
Rumble
thinking with
pack.
like with the PS5 versus PS4. Like if that's the feature is we added a Rumble pack basically. Like I feel like the games should just be able to turn it off and just use a regular controller.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah,
that's
I
really
don't
what
know
the holdup is.
I don't know what special sort of controller features are going on here. They haven't really said much about it.
Unless they're like going up to Bluetooth 5 something instead of Bluetooth 4.2.
Yeah, but even
then it'd still work.
Yeah, even then it would still work. It's got to be like a fundamental thing in the controller that you know what I mean, like some sort of like trigger haptics. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like a driving game that actually has like force feedback on like the sticks would be really awesome. And I can understand like, okay, you can't play this game because you have to have that force feedback to control the cars properly. Because I know there's like force feedback and haptics in this controller. I just don't know to what extent. All right.
Yeah. It just seems like an odd decision from me, but whatever. Yeah.
I like it. I like how they're just like, hey man, some games are just you can't play them on old shit. I don't mind that.
And that's fine to me.
Yeah.
Sucks, but I'm more weirded out by the controllers. Because I also that's a bummer to me because I'm still in the camp of the PS5 is fucking butt ugly, especially the controllers. I would much rather just use a black DualShock than the fucking PS5 controller.
I like that. I like the little space age look.
No,
But I'm not
they made
putting it in my
dude.
living room. That's the thing.
They made it fucking bigger too. So no, just let me use a PlayStation DualShock. God damn it.
Research firm confirms what we've known for a while. E3's absence had had no impact on major publishers.
Surprise.
E3 sucks, dude. It had no impact. There's just a pandemic, and it's just not here, and it had no impact. That's awesome. Well, there it goes. There's no reason to have it. There's no reason to spend money on it. Then we're never going to see E3 again. Why would they have it? Why would you spend millions of dollars? Not millions, but why would you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars bringing a booth, bringing, people over there when it makes no impact? I don't know if we're ever going to see an E3. It might be an end of an era.
Well, it had no impact on the major publishers.
Major.
Probably
Okay,
has an
sure.
impact. It probably has an impact on the lower end, but like,
I'm curious though.
yeah,
Does it?
I agree.
Like, how much does it?
If you're a big boy, who cares?
Maybe.
Well, I could see it because it would just be good for networking amongst indie people.
Oh right,
But,
yeah. I guess that could be a thing.
But that could still be done just with a smaller size conference.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see.
A lot of
that,
these
actually.
companies are starting to realize that they have better control over what they show. Have most of the time without leaks, they're able to kind of manufacture their hype. You look at Ubisoft doing their own presentation, which was leaked to hell, and still they had more viewers on Twitch than they did in 2019 at E3.
Yeah.
And yet, I would argue, was probably a worse show. that Ubisoft Forward was awful.
It was. It certainly
And
was.
whether that
But that'll
means
also
that
bring in
because-
that'll especially in Twitch that'll still also bring in viewers though. Let's be real.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they
Like,
don't. They're
the
starting to
worse
realize
the worse your show is, the more
more people
eyes
watch.
you're gonna get.
and then they're definitely starting to realize they really don't need E3 anymore. E3 is just an
No.
outdated. It's an outdated forum. They don't need it.
Yeah.
It's expensive, and they don't. They can. That money that they use to go to that and do their show there is well better spent elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's.
It's for like all of them. It's all the big games. Anyone who shows off tech at E3, like you can just do that yourself way easier nowadays. All you have to do is send it to Keeley, and the world will know.
You just suckle on Jeff Keighley's Keighley's, and you'll be good.
Yeah, this is funny. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna see an E3 next year.
Probably not.
Don't think
'cause
we need to.
I also don't think this is all going to be over either. So
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What's E3 gonna do? Online E3? Cool. We're already doing that with everything else. We don't need you.
Now I would watch an online E3 if they consolidated all of it together into like one nice show in like a day or two, because I don't like how it's like you have to set up like multiple
E3
things to catch all
Summer
the
of
shows.
Gaming.
Yeah, like an E3 or just a day.
Hosted by Jeff Keighley.
Let's just get a day.
Hosted by
Host
Jeff
this.
Keighley.
Yes, let's get Jeff Keighley hosting it, and just give me a day, and then just have everyone show all
Dude,
the games.
honestly, I think that's what he's trying to do. Honestly,
I think that's what he tried to. Yeah, I think that's what he tried to do. Try, but it ended up being like this very just like, I mean, there was barely anything he showcased. It was almost kind of all indies.
I think that this might have been the groundwork to try to do something more realistic in the next couple of years.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. That I'm not opposed to.
Yeah, that would be interesting. It would do the exact.
I like
same
the
things.
E3 drama too. Like I kind of miss it. I think E3 is kind of fun. There's always like that E3 kind of like aura about it.
I
And
mean,
now we're just not
yeah,
gonna get it.
I do miss that. I don't miss the drama just because it was boring to me. But like, I miss the hype of knowing it was all going to at least happen in this set of
Right.
days. So you had something to build up.
Yeah, it was
to,
very dramatic. It was like you had, and there was always some weird like gaff that was gonna go on. I like the interviews that you got from all the people on the floor, and there was just more energy around it than it was just like, now Ubisoft's gonna show off their games, and it's all like, prepackaged footage that it's whatever.
Here's a
I
new
certainly
Far
loved
Cry.
watching a 2-hour Sony presentation for 4 games, including an 8-minute flute solo from Ghost of Tsushima.
Dude, that was awesome though. Let's be real.
8-minute flute solo.
Actually,
don't need it. Though. I don't just show you.
There's exactly. There's no reason there, but that was just like that was kind of interesting in itself. Of just like, all right, so we're gonna start at Studio 1, then we're gonna force march you to Studio 2.
That was so weird.
That was awesome.
That
now they're never,
was
they
kinda
don't.
cool.
There's never gonna be a
2
flute solo.
hours.
We're never gonna have flute solos anymore. You know what I mean? Like all that.
Yeah, and Sony
All
would
the
always
theatrics
bust
are
out that
gone.
crazy ass bullshit too. It wasn't even just the flute solo. They'd always like there was one time it was like raining and crap inside the studio. Like
Crash
that
Bandicoot 4.
kind of miss. Yeah,
Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time got more views than Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's got the most views. Resident Evil, it's got more than Resident Evil 8. It's got more than Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Watch Dogs Legion, Spider-Man Miles Morales. It has the most
People
video
want
views.
Crash Bandicoot, man.
What the
They want to
fuck,
crash.
dude? I had no
it's all because of
idea.
Jeff Keighley.
I had no idea. Keely's got that Midas touch, man. What the fuck?
When
Battery's
is
got-
Keighley?
he
Is
knows-
Keighley now an influencer?
Yes,
oh,
absolutely.
he's been
Bug Snacks is
Unfortunately.
last. Bug Snacks
Where's the
only has
Instagram for Keighley? And he's hashtag ad.
Bug Snacks only has 17,000 views.
Nobody gives a fuck about Bug Snacks.
We say that now.
Sorry.
Dude. We say that now. You don't know, dude. That game could be
Nobody
sick.
gives a fuck.
No, it, will
It
be
got more
interesting,
views than
too, though.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That's nuts to me.
Now it will be interesting though, because this is the flip side that I see what they're saying for getting views out there, that E3's dead, but it will be interesting to me is like in a year or two comparing numbers of sales, because that's actually what these things are for. They don't care about how many views we got; they care about how many sales did this actually translate to.
Oh, absolutely.
So that'll be an interesting flip side. Is does E3, the hype of E3 actually get them more sales versus more eyes of just throwing Crash Bandicoot and Bugs Life back to back?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think so. I don't think there would be that much of a difference.
I don't think there'll be
there
that
would
much difference either, but that's the actual study I think they're going to wait for
Well, that's what they
to
want
see
to
if
know.
E3 is worth it or not.
Yeah, that's what they
Because
want.
I will say there's something, I think there is some element there of you watched an 8-minute flute solo and got super hyped over how beautiful Ghosts look, and you just go and pre-order it.
Or
versus-
Keanu walking out for Cyberpunk.
Right, and then you're just going to be super in that hype moment, pre-order it instead of just here's a non-gameplay cinematic trailer on a phone.
That's what I'm
Man,
saying.
I don't
I'm
know
gonna
how
miss
hyped I'm
it.
gonna get.
I'm gonna miss E3. If we don't see it ever again, it will be sad. It will be sad. It'll be an end of an era.
Yeah, that's the biggest devil's advocate argument I can come up with.
Yeah. All
I
right.
don't know.
Next, Sekiro is getting a free update. I didn't know about this. This is cool. Shadows Die Twice update will add outfits, remnants, and a stupid hard challenge mode. Are you gonna play this, Doobie?
Yo, boss rush.
Are you gonna play this?
Oh hell yeah, boss rush. You just go from boss to boss.
Is that what this mode is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
what's
I
new?
think is
2
really
modes
cool
will be
because
added in the
bosses
update.
are so good.
Both accessible in-game through the Sculptor's Idol. Reflections of Strength allow players to initiate a remax with any boss they have already cleared, which should be good practice for the second mode, Gauntlets of Strength, which will let the most challenge-starved players attempt single-life boss fight gauntlets, meaning that you can't let your machoism flow and limit your ties to a single digit. You should fall at this article, man. Should you fall
I
at
want
any
to see
point?
the speedrun.
Oh, through the gauntlet?
Through the gauntlet speedrun, how fast you can beat it.
That could be fun,
like,
yeah.
One life.
Yeah, that would be
It's a
fun.
lot of
I'll
fun,
watch
yeah.
the shit out of that, actually. I'll watch that Twitch. Finally, Sekiro's new Remnants feature may sound familiar to anyone that's played a From Software game. Remnants are recordings of what a player does in-game for up to 30 seconds at a time and are available for use after the game's tutorial. After a player records their remnant, whether it is an epic takedown of an enemy or a flawless demonstration of a tricky maneuver technique, it can be uploaded along with a written message so that other community members can play it back. Oh yeah, it's like this stone thing on the ground. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, I remember Dark Souls Remnants.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Hell yeah, dude. I mean, I kind of wish there was a little, maybe some extra content, but at least we're getting some DLC for Sekiro. That's pretty sick. I'm happy to go back, especially after playing Ghosts. I'll go back to Sekiro. Even Star Citizen fans are getting shitty about Squadron 42. Star Citizen fans might possibly be the most patient group of humans in the universe. Not only have they tolerated one of the longest and loudest development cycles for a game in history, they continually poured out their wallets to make the space epics feature creep a reality, making Star Citizen the most expensive game in history. A thread, but even the diehard fans have their limits. A thread on the official Star Citizen subreddit has been gaining a lot of steam over the last 72 hours. The main point of contention, a promise made by Star Citizen developers earlier this year to include more Squadron 42. That's the single-player focused offshoot of Star Citizen. For those who haven't kept track, content into their regular updates. Here was the specific promise. When we first embarked on this roadmap, this is long. The impact of the post. Basically, they were supposed to get some extra content. It's not happening. It's taking forever. It looks like Star Citizen kind of released like an update on what's going on. The graphics team continued to work on CPU performance improvements, and then they found some issues there, some engineering issues there. Then they talk about the narrative and then QA. So if you are hoping to play some Star Citizen Squadron or even just Star Citizen, you still gotta wait. You still gotta. I don't understand how the game works because people are playing it and they're spending money on it. But there's no game there, right? There's no like actual game yet. It's more of just like all beta testing and just like floating around. I don't think there's an actual game element to it, which is crazy to me because this has been going on for years. So there's that. And then the Sakeesian Hotline. Anita Sarkeesian has launched an emotional support hotline for people who play and make games. The Games and Online Harassment Hotline is a new service for anyone in the game industry to use if they want to talk to someone about their abuse, burnout, depression, or other issues they might be facing. It's free and anonymous, and it's designed to encourage people to seek help when they need it. Headed by feminist frequencies Anita Sarkeesian, the idea for the hotline was born during the Me Too movement the games industry experienced in August last year. The movement has continued in 2020 more prominently in accusations about Ubisoft's company culture. Quote, when we started seeing this in August, many of us were like, okay, we got to do something about it. So she set up the hotline. This is what kind of little trailer here.
Chatting, adventuring, dueling, side questing, exploring. Millions of real people.
Now, I actually think this is a pretty good idea because it does seem like there's a lot of baggage that comes with working in this industry. And it seems as if something like this may need to exist here. So I think this is pretty good. It's just, is it head by the right person? I'm not sure. I think the baggage of Anita Sarkeesian might kind of weigh this down a little bit. You know, maybe kind of keep that under wraps. You can do something like this, but I feel like it might just get trolled.
Depends on what it is. Like if it is just a call in so you can get support, hell yeah, go for it. It depends if it gets turned into anything more than that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, hey, dude, props to her if it's just here's a support line if you actually need help with that. Hell yeah, dude. Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been sitting here going like this because someone just took a puck to the face. There's just a lot of blood.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, so there you go. If you work in the games industry and you need someone to speak to about, this is I don't know of any other service other than like other hotline services that are just normal hotline services, but I guess this is tailored to the industry, which may help more. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting.
I don't think her name being on it,
especially if you work at Blizzard and you can't afford a counselor.
Yeah, true. I just don't think her name being like headlining on it is the smartest idea. I think they should have kept that under wraps. I think that's a little odd, just because she brings way too much just controversy, and I feel like they're gonna get trolled now. I feel like everyone's just gonna call up and just troll it. All right.
You can have that argument, yeah, because look at what was that Bully GG gaming team or whatever bullshit.
Oh right, yeah.
Bully Hunter.
Yeah, Bully
whatever.
Hunters. Bully hitters. No bully hunters. Yeah. I think this can quickly turn into that situation.
Where's the hotline for when I get called a racial slur in an online game?
This is it. This is the one you'd call. This is the one. The Anita Sarkeesian hotline.
These 13-year-olds are being mean to me.
I mean, hey, if that's all it is, this is just a support hotline. I'm not gonna bash it.
No, I'm not gonna either. I think it's a great idea. I just think keep her name off of it. That I think it will go a lot better. If you keep her name off of it. She doesn't need to be the face of it. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Okay. Yeah, that's a fair argument to me. I just like for me, it's like I don't care either way. If you have problems with that, I hope it's a good resource. Basically, that's what I'll see. We'll see is if it ends up being a good resource or not.
Yeah.
But if it's a good resource, hell yeah, dude.
How do they fund that stuff? I
work online, dude. Even just watching hockey right now, dude. If you go to any live chat, it's still a cesspool.
Oh yeah. Yep. I wonder if you think that'll ever change or no.
I hope, but I don't know.
All right, we've got some tech, and then we're done. iMac. New iMac is released, and it's a brand new redesign with 0 bezels, and it's got 5 Thunderbolt 4 ports, and
they actually increased the bezels to be 3 inches this time.
No, but the bezels they actually float. So you have this monitor that has no bezels, and then they put bezels that float on the sides.
Yeah,
3-inch floating
it's just
bezels.
Magnets. The side of the screen's magnets, and they actually added 6 inches of bezels all around it that float in the air.
Yeah, it's sick. Nope, it's just the same iMac. And
who cares? Don't buy it.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say who cares.
Hey,
I like the iMac.
Fair. I say who cares because they did the SSD update. If you're buying the 21-inch, there's no difference other than the SSD update. I wouldn't buy it. I would not buy any of the 21-inchers. They're still mostly 7th gen or 8th gen processors. Don't touch them.
No, don't. No. Yeah.
The 27-inch, cool, I guess. Like they upgraded the graphics. That's pretty cool. So there could be an argument. Well, but I wouldn't buy. I'm saying don't buy them until we actually see the ARM stuff.
Yeah.
Or the Apple Silicon.
That's the problem. Is the timing of it. That's the problem.
Like, if Apple Silicon can touch this, that might be the route because they might also be cheaper. But if you need pure graphics power, this might be the route. We don't really know until we see what they are.
Yeah. Now, if you own a company and you need an expense and you're looking to upgrade your iMac or your whatever Mac that you're using currently, you know, you do got a nice little spec bump. You're going up to the 10th gen. The highest spec one is an 8-core 10th gen i7, and then that can go up to, what's the graphics option here? That one can go up to...
You can get it up to a 5700 XT.
5700 XT for $500.
Which is
that's a pretty respectable machine.
That's not that bad because those are $400 graphics cards. So that's better than the MacBook Pro, for example. That's a $300 graphics card for $600.
Yeah. Yeah, so for $3,000, you can get a 27-inch iMac, 8-core.
I would
16
wait
gigs.
because that's a lot of money for something that in 3 months might be outdated completely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the timing
So
is a little odd.
Yeah. So like really what it comes down to
This is like their last one.
The
it looks
graphics.
Like. Yeah, the graphics.
It's gonna be one of them because there's still a lot of rumors that the Apple Silicon stuff might not have dedicated graphics and work with AMD cards, for example. So if you are in a Blender workload or something like that, this is probably still a safe bet.
Yeah.
But anything else,
And they also added the nano texture from the Pro display on there, which is kind of cool. If you work in like photo, you don't want any glare. That's kind of nice. $500,
True.
but
$500 to get a matte fucking screen that you have to clean with a special cloth.
yeah, you can't use any. You have to use a legit cloth. But I think it's a nice little update. I do want to read.
No, it is a good update. I would have been way more excited if it was.
They're gonna
all of
re-update
the rumored bezel-less stuff.
They're gonna do that to the
like-
21 before they do it to the 27, and then they'll add it to the 27, and then we'll get excited.
That's what I was kind of hoping for, so that's why I'm a little bummed. But like, I don't know. It seems like a fine update. I wouldn't buy one. I would just keep waiting.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you're gonna spend, especially because the problem is they only updated the 27-inch, so they only updated the really expensive ones. That's a lot of money when ARM's right, 2 months away.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
potentially,
6-core, 10th gen 6-core i5, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 5300, 256 SSD, and it's 1800.
You gotta pump that up. By the way, the 256 SSD is still killing me.
Yeah.
Don't spend $2,000 and only have a 256 SSD.
Oh wait, you can't. Oh, on the base model you can't.
You can't update it. You can't upgrade the SSD on the base model.
No.
That's nutty. Fuck that. Don't buy the base
The
model.
base model only comes in the 256 gig storage. So basically they're saying this is what they did. Basically they
Holy
said
shit, dude.
the base model is the lowest of the low. It's only 256, but the real base model is now $2,000 because that's the one that's the one. It's essentially the same chip, the same RAM, but then you start at 512. And then you can upgrade that to 1 terabyte or 2 terabytes. Interesting.
I mean,
why would they
that's
do
a little
that?
bit better, but yeah. But yeah, dude, they're
For
lowering their
$200 more,
margins.
you get 512. So don't get the base model. Do not get the base model.
No, dude, you got to go for the more expensive one because Apple's lowering their margins.
They are, motherfucker.
If you're selling a $900 phone with a 720p screen, you're not lowering your margins, bud.
Yes, they are. I showed it on stream, bitch. So, in your face. Haha.
Live in fantasy world. Haha.
Yeah, so there we go. 20.
No, I'm sorry. I'm
You're wrong. I don't know what to
poking the
tell you.
bear.
You're wrong. I showed it on stream. You're completely wrong. They're
I'm
lowering the margins.
not living in a fantasy world where a company with a $900 720p phone is considered lowering margins.
Okay, I don't know what to tell you. All right, but one thing that we know is not lowering their margins is Canon. So now it's time we talk about the R5. The big bad R5, the hot controversial R5. Let's open up the No Life YouTube channel. So first off, if you're interested in this camera, I uploaded a bunch of testing videos on the R5.
He did, and they're all actually pretty good.
Thank you, sir.
And the quality is pretty good, actually.
Thank you.
I still want to see some of the raw footage, but yeah.
Yeah,
The
I need to
non-YouTube
figure out the
footage is what
best
I
way
mean.
to upload that stuff. I was looking at it and I was like,
Throw it on Vimeo, and then you can download the real file off of Vimeo.
I might have to. I need to figure out how that works.
Got to steal the Philip Bloom strategy.
Yeah. So you can see here, here are the testing that I did. The first testing I did was the 4K versus the 4K HQ. The second one I did all the crop mode testing, 1080p testing, all I versus IPB. The third one I did was IBIS testing. I'm still working on overheating testing, and then the final review. So there's 2 more R5 videos. I'm really milking this R5 while I can. And
Keep doing it. Like,
yeah, I'm going.
No one else is getting this camera until November.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get into that. So the way that I got this camera, I had it pre-ordered, but I didn't pre-order it until like a week or so later. And the eve of the camera release, I noticed that some people were getting their pre-orders in, and they said if your ordered thing didn't update, then that means that it's still on back order and you're probably not in the first batch. So I was like, all right, I'm definitely not in the first batch. What I'll do is I'll call some shops the next day and see if any of them have any available in stock. They did. One of them had one in stock, and it's this camera store that I normally go to, Cardinal Camera. Shout out Cardinal Camera in King of Prussia. So I went over there, ran over there, canceled my pre-order from B&H, picked it up. The guy sold it to me with a card that doesn't really work with it. The guy sold it with it's called Hoodman. I don't know. Have you ever heard of this brand, Hoodman?
No, I haven't heard of Hoodman, but that has been the bane of my existence lately.
Camera, dude.
This is something that
Look at
I've
this
been dealing
SD.
with.
Hold on, let me show you. So this is the card that he sold me. This card's like $200. I've never heard of it. And I asked him, I said, are you sure this card works with this camera? He said, yeah. When I called Canon, they said these are all approved. So unless they lied to him or there's something going on with this camera, someone's at fault. But I'll just go back and just trade it in. He's a cool dude.
No, that's been the bane of my existence because where I'm currently, okay. So someone's still in Fuji land for a while now. Memory cards have been a bane, and this is my worry with the R5, the 7S3, and a couple of others that are now finally catching up to my $900 Fuji for bitrate speeds. Just because a card is rated to actually be fast enough for your camera, no way in hell that means that's true.
Yeah,
I still get if I go to 200 or 400 on my camera,
it's a slow
I
card
still get
or
right
whatever.
errors half of the time.
Yeah.
On like half of the cards work, and like even cards from the same manufacturer, one of them works, one of them doesn't.
Yeah. This card is like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work in the highest modes.
Right.
It's just been a hassle with this card, so
and it sucks because you lose shots, and it's hell, honestly.
Yeah. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do. At least with this camera now, it's not. There's 2 card slots. There's that and an SSD.
Well, wait, can you
or an SD? That's
right. You can't currently lower your bit rate, can you? Other than switching modes.
No, you can only go from all I to IPB. So I guess you can. So I guess you can.
That is the benefit of mine is I have the options of 400, 200, 100, or 50.
Yeah, you can't do that. Sony allows that as well. You can't do that on Canon. Canon is just you either have the all-I or the IPB compression, which does effectively change the bitrate, but...
Right, it changes the bitrate, but it also changes compression. That's kind of... I'd like to see that changed.
Yeah, I think they should add it because then you can just have smaller files. I mean, I think they should add it. Sony has it. Fuji has it. That's
where I've been frustrated too in this whole camera world is like, hell yeah, full frame is finally catching up to my Fuji.
Yeah.
My Fuji for video.
Well, this is the thing. Okay, so this is the thing with this camera. I am really, really loving this camera. I think they did a terrible job. Gerald and Dunn did his review, and I completely agree with what he said in it. They did a terrible job selling the camera and marketing it. It is not an A7S III. It's not just 100% video-centric camera.
It's not a video hybrid, yeah.
Yeah, it is just a hybrid camera. It's possibly the best hybrid camera on the market. There's no other hybrid that
I think you
would
can make
beat
that
it.
argument pretty easily. Yeah, it's the best hybrid.
Yeah. There's no question. There's almost no question until Sony's A7
that versus the A7S III.
Yeah, think of it A7S III, but with photo features from the A7
I think the
R4.
more apt comparison, it's R4. Yeah, that's where I was gonna go.
It's an R4, but it's got some great video features. We'll get to the overheating because that's where things really get dicey.
And I agree with that with the marketing because the marketing was it's a video focused hybrid.
The marketing was that it's
really
a 5D
it's an R4
successor. That was really where I think they kind of tripped up. They were like, this is The way that the 5D changed the game in video for mirrorless or for DSLRs, this is going to change the game for video for mirrorless. And it's like, it's not really what that happened. It's not really. And they fucked up because it's a great video camera. It's not a S3. It's not a professional workflow video camera. It is a great video camera for people that want to shoot good 4K. But if you want professional 4K, if you want, 4K 60, 4K 120 that doesn't overheat, if you want at least 11 to 12, or if you want at least 12 stops of dynamic range, if you want...
I don't think it's even so much that, because I think you can get most of that from the R5. It's just that, do you need to record for 20 minutes or longer?
Yeah. And that's what I mean. It's like the regular 4K mode I think is adequate because I like the 4K that comes out of the EOS R. It's a little soft. Yeah. It's a little soft, but
well, watching the footage that I've been able to see from yours, and that's why I was trying to get the actual files to not get YouTube compression.
Yeah.
There is an improvement from the R, but in non-HQ mode, I have a tough time justifying the price point for that, basically.
That's the thing.
From a pure video side, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if it looks completely usable, like if you're mostly using it for pictures, but then, hey, I need to record for 60 minutes, it looks adequate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing is like...
But at the same time, you could make an argument there, then why don't I just buy an R4?
And when I go into my review, let me open up Google Sheets because I have my overheating results so far. When I go into my review, I'm going to say, look, get it out of your head that this is an 8K camera in any way. You're not going to shoot in 8K. You're not going to shoot in downsampled 8K. That's not what's going to happen. If you don't mind the 4K that you're going to get from just the regular 4K mode, the 4K that comes out of the EOS R, they're pretty much exactly the same. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's a little bit worse depending on the scene, just because the dynamic ranges.
That's what I was noticing the most, yeah, which was what I was trying to bring up to you is like there are definitely shots you've taken with it where you can notice an improvement, but then there's shots where I like the R better.
Yeah.
Straight up.
I want to do more actual testing of that because it does seem, the line skipping on it does seem weird. Like it does weird things. It's almost like the further you are away,
it's going to old Sony land of weird digital.
Yeah,
like there's shots that,
but only when you're far away,
digital.
which is odd. It's really only when it's like you're. I don't know. I want to do more testing on it, but I just for the average quality, just expect the same 4K from the EOS R, except you get it full frame, no crop, because there's a 1.7 times crop in 4K on the EOS R. You get the best IBIS that I've ever used in a camera. You get
that's a huge selling point.
You get the internal 10-bit. You get the best autofocus that I've used in a camera. The autofocus is fucking incredible with this animal eye autofocus, which is incredible. All that together, I mean, it's a great upgrade from the EOS R. And then on top of that, you get burst 4K 120, burst downsampled 8K, burst 4K 60. And then if you add a external recorder to it, then you can basically get unlimited 4K 60 external. So it has like everything you want from the EOS R, except make it better, and then and essentially kind of add like a little bit of a future proof to it, and then you have a great camera. That's how they should have marketed it, instead of marketing it as like this is basically an A7 S3 tier video camera, because that's not what it is at all. It's just not that. It's not meant to be that. It doesn't do that. And I think that's where they fucked up. I think the R6 is even a bigger fuck up. I think what they did with the R6 is even a bigger fuck up.
No, I agree with that. Like that, no, because that's the problem too. This is why I'm the most frustrated with it, is because of all of the marketing. They marketed, hey, dude, at HQ, like the HQ mode, it looks stunning. It does look really good.
Yeah, it looked great.
But you can use it for 20 minutes and then you have to shut the camera off for a fucking hour.
For 2 hours.
Like 2 hours?
Well, if you want the full time, it's 2 hours. If you want like the full. So here are my overheating results here.
That is so frustrating because the quality is so good.
I know.
But I'd be too afraid to use it. I would never use it. And for me, our EOS R and a speed booster. There you go. You're done.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend $4,000 when I can get the same image quality that I'm mostly going to have for $2,000.
I will say though, the IBIS is very well worth like a good increase in mic because the IBIS on the EOS R, it's okay. Like the optical stabilization is okay.
Twice as much?
I don't know. You're gonna have to make that decision yourself because you do get a
That's
better
fair,
photo
that's
camera
fair.
as well. And this is a hybrid
True.
for me. This is what I use it for. So here
No,
are my
I mean,
overheating
that's valid.
results.
I'm just coming from a straight video eyes. Like, I think the R is still more than I need for photos.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like,
No, the R is
yeah,
great.
but if I can just,
the R is
if
an
I can
excellent
speed
camera.
boost the R, I'm just gonna use the R. If the digital image stabilization in the R is more than good enough for me personally.
No, it's great.
And if I really need that Olympus Panasonic level IBIS,
It's
I
pretty
buy
good
Ronin
gimbal.
SC for $300.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of where I think a lot of people are going to get tripped up is like, because the R is going to go down in price even more in the next, how many months? You can probably get it for like $1,200 right now. That is a fucking steal for the R. And if you want to go to Canon, like that's the thing. If you want to move to the RF mount, which I think is the best mount right now, then that's a great value camera.
The RF is. I'm still in two mindsets of the RF because I think RF is the future, but I still don't know if I'm ready to buy into it.
Yeah, you
I
gotta be
want
ready.
to buy into it because like
And you don't have EF.
the
If you had
top-
EF, it'd probably be a little easier of a decision.
true, but I only have some EF. But like even with EF, I'm not factoring that into it as much just because the reason why I have EF is EF works on everything.
Yeah. That's
Like
true.
there's ways to make it work beautifully on any fucking camera.
Yeah.
But I don't know. RF is really cool to me. A lot of the top end glass is really good. It is probably the best that's been coming out recently.
Yeah. I would
But
say
it
so.
still has that issue to me of where Sony was a couple of years ago, and it's the same thing with Fuji right now, which is probably the biggest reason why I'd leave Fuji is not because of their actual camera bodies, it's just the lens ecosystem.
Yeah.
And I wish I think RF still needs a couple of more years, I guess is what I'm saying.
I know like some people want like cheaper lenses for the Canon system because the RFs are expensive. They don't have any like Sony has the FE line, which is considerably
Right.
less cheaper than the GM, and
You need like
they're great.
like that's what I want to see from RF is I want to see
You were
you
thinking
have
FE.
you have the Grail pieces which they've been coming out with, and the Grail pieces are legit Grail pieces.
Yeah, but they're like $2,500, $3,000.
Right.
I mean, they're pricey.
But then I do think they need to start working on, and I get why they haven't, is because, yeah, they do just go, well, you can adapt an EF lens, just do that,
Yeah.
which is valid.
Yeah.
But I still want to,
You want native.
I still want to see that full range fleshed out where it's like, because I don't, as much as I'm fine shooting adapted, I don't necessarily always want to do that. Where
No.
it would be nice where I could just say, hey, cool, here's a full set of RF glass. Because that's the other thing, too, is they have a lot of really great zooms. They have shit for primes, at least right now.
Well, they have the
They-
85 and the 50
Yeah,
and the 35.
and the 35,
Yeah.
which
They're all really good,
that's
though.
fine.
They're all really
And
good, though.
yeah, they're all really good, but it's
But they're
just like,
expensive. Except the
and it's-
35 is pretty cheap.
well, yeah, it's partially that, but it's also just like, all right, so where's my 105? Where's my 135? I still kind of want a 200. Like, I want those tele ranges. I want a 16. I
Yeah.
want a 20. I want a 24.
Yeah, you want the
like-
pancake.
Right. I would like that's just where I'm thinking. I want a 27.
No, I hear
really
you.
Like 27 pancakes. You know what I mean? So like there is more of that where I do want to see fleshed out a little bit more, but the Grail pieces are totally worth buying into RF.
Yeah.
That 15 to 35 is still probably the best lens, period.
Yeah, it's a dope lens, man. But anyways, here's the overheating table that I've come up with so far. Still doing more testing on it. 8K raw, 30 frames per second, which is nutty. It's just nutty. It's so good. It's so fucking good. There's like no noise. You can go all the way up to like 32, 6400 and get no noise on it, which is really shocking. Amazing mode. You get maybe 15 minutes on it. I have 15 minutes here, and I say it's completely unreliable, meaning you might get 15, you might get 10, you might get 20. Some people are saying they're averaging 20 minutes on it. I'm like, I've gotten average 15 minutes on it, which is a good amount. It's nothing to scoff at. Like 15 minutes of footage is a lot, but it's not reliable. You're not going to reliably say, okay, I'm going to pick up this camera and today I have to shoot 45 minutes. So I'm going to spread that out into this much. You can't do that with this camera. That's the problem.
That's my problem with all of these modes. Because I'm on old Fuji. I have my limit. I have record limits. I have bad record limits. And it's not, it sucks, but it's doable. It's totally fine. It does suck, and you have to cut up clips and stuff like that. But the problem I'm having with this is, if I shoot 15 minutes and I have a 15-minute limit or a 30-minute limit, cool, I do that, and then I can instantly start it again. If I need to shoot for an hour and a half, cool. It's in dumb clipped formats that makes it hell to edit.
That's not with this camera. Yeah, this camera doesn't do that. That's the biggest knock on this camera, and I'll get to that. Let me run through the list real quick.
Okay.
8K 30 without RAW is same thing, 15 minutes. Maybe you'll probably get I think 17 minutes was my exact time, but I rounded these numbers. 4K 120, I rounded down to 10 minutes. That's what I got in the most reliable state, which is still unreliable, but that's plenty. I actually think that's really good that you get 10 minutes.
That's more than you need.
You can always count on getting at least 10 minutes of 4K 120. So I might change that unreliable to more somewhat reliable or reliable. 4K 60, you can get 25 minutes internal, which is a good amount of time, but it's not enough for anyone who needs 4K 60, which is usually shooting sports, you're shooting wildlife. You need that unlimited. But good thing is if you have an external recorder, you get an unlimited time on the 4K 60. It will not overheat on 4K 60. You can crop it in. You get less time. You get about 5 minutes less internal, but it also overheats when you external it 4K 60 cropped. 4K HQ 30p, you get 25 minutes internal average and about an hour external. Gerald Undone got 45 minutes. I don't know how he got that. I got an hour few times, which is fine. An hour, whatever. I wish it was unlimited. That's my biggest concern, is I wish the downsampled modes were unlimited, but at least on the external. And then 4K HQ 24, same thing, but that's a little bit more reliable. I was able to hit those numbers more reliably than at the 30p for whatever is that worth. Everything else is unlimited, so you can record it internal or external without hitting any overheating limits. So the 4K, the 5.1K crop mode, where you're downsampling from 5.1K, all unlimited, and then the regular 4K 30, 24, all unlimited, and then of course 1080p, all unlimited. You can always count on that. So what I like to show is, like, if you want these modes, if you need these modes, which are essentially the same modes in the Canon EOS R, except you want IBIS, you want full frame, you want an uncropped image, you want 10-bit internal, and you want to also run it with a Ninja if you ever want to record ProRes, and you want 60 frames per second in 4K, then definitely pick up this camera. Then this camera, you're going to love it. If you ever expect to shoot downsampled 8K, you're going to have a bad time. You're going to be very upset you got this camera, at least until there's an update that fixes this. Because another thing is, this camera doesn't get hot. I don't know what's going on. I think Canon is being very conservative with their temperature limits. But when I'm shooting it in 4K 30, when I'm shooting it in 4K 60 and 4K 120, now more so 4K 60 and 4K 30, it's cold. The battery's cold. The SD card's cold. Everything's cold. I don't know why they're limiting it so heavily in these modes. 4K 120 and 8K, it definitely gets a little bit warm. But warm. When I use my Sony a7R4, it is hot, hot, hot. So I think they're going to increase the limits, and then I can expect these numbers to double maybe by the next batch, like whatever the next firmware is, or maybe the firmware after that. These numbers I think are going to change. But for now, don't think about buying this camera if you want to use any sort of downsampled 4K. So if you watch the videos and they're using 4K HQ and you're like, oh my God, it's so gorgeous, I want to shoot that all the time, don't get this camera. Yeah, it is.
Which sucks. Yeah,
that's the most disappointing part.
The kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really is what the kicker is like, no, you actually do have really great quality, but if you're thinking for video, it's kind of, it is a gut punch, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It sucks. It definitely sucks. And the worst part is when you're out and you're in the field and you're shooting hybrid, you're shooting photos, you're shooting a little bit of 120, you're shooting a little bit of 60, you're shooting a little bit of 24 frames, it all eats into the time. So it's not like if you're shooting 4K 30, you're not eating into that time at all. You are. So think you turn the camera on and it's cold, you have basically 10 minutes for that 4K 120. But if you shoot enough time in the 4K 30 mode where it hits that temperature, then you're going to eat into that time. You're going to have less and less time. And there's points where, you're not going to get any time for the 8K. You're not going to get any time for the 4K downsampled mode. You're not going to get any time for the 120. So you have to get it out of your head that you're going to be using those modes reliably. You'll be able to use them once in a while. For the most part, you should expect those internal numbers. But that's pretty much it. Don't expect anything more than that. And then once you get that out of your head, then the camera really gets out of your way, and it's an amazing hybrid camera. It's an amazing tool for anyone that does like YouTube, does content, web content, you do social media, you do all that stuff yourself. There's no better, you're not going to get a better image quality from anything else currently. If you're someone that wants to shoot real video, then the A7 III, that's the perfect fucking camera that you can
Yeah,
do.
I was gonna say better for video quality. I think there is some competition there now.
Yeah, the A7 III.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
There's no question that's the best camera for anyone that wants video.
Well, I'm thinking hard image quality too. It actually competes there. That's the interesting thing about it to me.
Oh, you're saying just it competes with the 4K HQ?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely up there.
Especially if you're saying 4K HQ and then stick them both with ninjas, then you got a 12-bit signal. I think there's an argument there for how good the quality is on both.
For sure. The problem is that you just lose the photo. It's not really a photo camera. So that's something you need to think about with it. But that's the thing.
That's
the
that's
A7
the problem is
IV.
We're comparing and arguing about a video camera versus a photo camera.
Yeah, and the A7 IV, that's going to be a really interesting camera that may render these cameras useless. It may render the R5 useless. It may render the R6 useless. Because the R6 was the one that I wanted. I had that one pre-ordered.
This is the one I'm most pissed about, because the R6 should be the golden child of all of these three cameras.
Yeah, it really should be. They really fucked that one up. And again, hopefully they can fix this in firmware. I think they will fix it for the most part, but I'm being hopeful here. I mean, I don't want to rely on that.
You should just be able to, if you could take the R6, have it up to 4K 60, it doesn't overheat, and you can run all eye. That's literally all anyone
Or how about
actually
this?
wants.
How about just 4K 30, 24 and 30 don't overheat, and then 4K 60 doesn't overheat externally? I would still buy it.
Yeah,
I'd buy two.
Externally, yeah, I'd take that too.
I'd buy
It's
two of them.
I do like to do some sports shooting, so that's where I would like 60 to not overheat.
But say they give you the time limit now.
I can live with it if it's external, it doesn't overheat, because I'm
Yeah.
still probably going to take a monitor at those situations.
Yeah. So you still would get it internally. It just might overheat at like 30 minutes, but then you can external it, and then it doesn't overheat at all. Let's see what Gerald and Dunn's numbers
And you'd
are.
want to external it anyway, because then, right now at least, because then you'd get ProRes, which is way better than IPP.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that, is that you can actually edit it.
Yeah.
The editing is actually pretty rough with the 10-bit.
Which, going back to what we were
H.265.
talking about earlier, don't buy an iMac right now.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're thinking of buying an iMac for video camera stuff, don't.
Yeah, just wait a second.
for Apple Silicon, because that's
You're
what we
gonna
all have
kick
to do.
So here are Gerald and Dunn's numbers, overheating
Lately,
numbers.
I don't know. Even DaVinci, they've had like an update that's just killed me, dude. I don't know anything anymore.
So you can see
Even
Gerald and Dunn's
264
numbers.
is starting to kill me.
Yeah, well, here's his numbers. Pretty much the same. External R6 doesn't overheat in 2430, but it does overheat in external 60, both in the regular and the crop mode. So this is the thing with the R6. Some people are like, oh, I'll get this R6 with the Ninja and have a better video camera than the R5.
That was the dream.
Yeah.
That was entirely the dream.
Yeah. And that's not the case. I mean, I don't want to buy a camera and have to always have the Ninja to use it. At least with the R5, you
I'd
can
even
have
be
the
fine
ability.
with that. I basically do that right now with Fuji, because if you use Ninja, you get 10-bit external. So like I'm okay with that idea, if it would have been DCI internal at least.
Yeah.
That's the kicker.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It does not 4K DCI.
The R6? No. I was talking about the R6.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my
UHD.
$800 Fuji still has DCI.
Yeah, I don't mind too much about that.
And
I would
everything. I have DCI, I have all I got it all, baby. And an $800 fucking camera.
Yeah, the R6, I can't. That's the reason why I canceled my pre-order, because I'm not gonna bring a Ninja everywhere. Lived that life before. It fucking sucks bringing like your small HD monitor everywhere you have to go, because Sony doesn't have a flip screen monitor. So I went with the R5 because I want at least a mode that doesn't overheat, and I don't mind the 4K quality from the EOS R. I mean, I think it looks pretty good, and that's what I got. The problem is like
that's not a complaint. Sorry, I was going to talk about this earlier, but I wanted to let you go through the overheating.
Go ahead.
I agree with you. The non-HQ EOS R quality, yeah, it looks great. You can make EOS R footage look great because the old thing with the EOS R is if you hooked it up to a Ninja and actually got the 10-bit, looks great.
Yeah.
And now you just have that internally. That is a pro. It does look good. For me, it's just I don't know. I want an upgrade. I want that HQ. I want that fresh new shit.
Yeah.
Which that's really the bummer of
you get about a half an hour of it. That's about
right, and then you gotta wait 2 hours. That's I can't do that for what I want a camera. So it's not the camera for me, and that's fine.
Yeah, it's not. The Sony is definitely. There's no point in you getting any other camera.
And it should have been the R6.
Yeah. Now again, if say these get updated in the next month, and then at least 4K 24 and 30 don't overheat HQ in the R5, and then just the regular mode in the R6, then I think that most people are going to be very, very happy, and they're not going to feel like they're missing out on the A7S III. But right now, the A7S III is just, in terms of just the video features, which a lot of people, I mean, that's mainly what they're doing, right? It's mainly what they're doing. No one's really in need of a better photo camera, you know? No. Like, that's the thing is, like, we've had so many good photo cameras.
That's why I've always been on Fujiland. I don't even need full frame. I mean, at least for photos.
Yeah.
Like, even for video, it would be nice, but I still don't even think it's a need, you know what I mean? In that case, where it's just like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'm running APS-C, but I have, like I've mentioned before, I have every video mode I could ever want, and then I still have JPEG quality out my asshole. Mm-hmm. And it's still 26 megapixels for photos, and it's sharp as hell, you know what I mean? And I can still shoot RAW with it. Like, I don't need a better photo camera unless it was for speed. That's like the only thing I can think of.
And they already have like 20 frames per second. Like, I mean, I think the R5 is 20 frames per second, but there's been 20 frames per second photo cameras. Now, I do know that the photographers in the group, in the Canon Rumors group, which is a blast, by the way. It's so fun in that group. It's so funny, dude.
I'll actually start joining all of them. But
oh man, I want to see if there's a Sony one. I'm sure there is.
Oh,
I'm sure,
dude.
Fun.
There's got to be.
But the photographers are very excited with the R5. They're very, very happy with it. It's really just the videographers that are like, damn, if it only didn't overheat and just the simple 4K 24 HQ, this would be the killer.
Yeah.
And again, I think they're going to fix it. I think it's going to be fixed because it doesn't get hot. And it could just be a software limitation. They're being way too conservative with it. Or they're going to give you that weird fan that goes on the RF mount, which would be cool. I think, though, overall, and this is going to be in the review, but I think that this camera is perfect for anyone that just needs everything. If it's like a Swiss Army knife, this is a really great Swiss Army knife camera, as long as the 4K quality, you're happy with it, which I don't think anyone isn't not happy with it. You know what I mean? You're going to get much better dynamic range with the A7S III.
Yeah. Well,
but you're going to lose out on a lot of you're going to lose out on a lot of the hybridness of it. You're going to lose out basically all the photo features, and you're going to lose out on the IBIS. So you kind of need to take that into consideration as well. Plus, you're not getting into an RF EF system. You're getting into the Sony E mount, which is fine. Sure. I mean, I like the E mount a lot, but that's something to think about too.
My whole thing is, for me, it's still hard. Just buy an R. Like that's
what some of these guys have been. They've been like, "You selling your R, dude?"
Yeah, like that.
But by the way,
it seems like that's what it like. A lot of the reviews, unfortunately, come down to me for as mostly video, but I still do take pictures. But I'm definitely I'm definitely more of like an 80-20, 90-10 split of I'm definitely a video person.
Yeah.
But I still want to take pictures. But why wouldn't I just buy an R then? Because for me, it's hard to if I can buy an R for $1,500 used easily, slap on a $700 Ninja, and I have the same fucking camera with a $400 speed booster, close enough. Not the exact same, obviously. It's still lose IBIS, and there would still be a bit of crop in.
Yeah.
But
the image is a little worse. The image is a little worse, but it's not
2,400. That's 2,400 versus 3,900.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money for not that different of a camera, for pure video side, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you wanted 4K 120, which I don't know. I mean, unless you wanted that. I mean, it's not. It is a mode that is kind of like niche.
4K 120 is cool to me. Like, that does sound really cool.
Not everyone's going to use it, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to use it.
Well, no, like, I do like using slow-mo, but...
It is nice, though.
It's... I don't know. That is... like.
But the 1080 on the EOS
It's the same
R...
thing with the 7S3, where it's like, I don't care. Like, cool, yes, I definitely want it, you know what I mean? Don't tell me I don't want it, but 10-bit to me 10-bit and the 12-bit external matters to me way fucking more than... oh, well, now I have 4K instead of 1080p slow-mo, but they're all still kind of sampled terribly. So they are a little bit better, but they still don't look that great.
Yeah, that's the thing, too, is the EOS R doesn't shoot a high frame rate in 1080. It only shoots it in 720. So you do get a big jump in that from the 4K
That's
120
true. I
to
forgot
that.
the Canon's still in that weird land.
Yeah, and that's another thing is the 1080 is great in the R5. It's probably better than the EOS R. I haven't compared the 1080s on both. But
which that's also saying something too, because the EOS R already had the best 1080.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at this footage here from this video, it's softer because I upscaled it, but it looks great. Like the 1080 looks really good. All right, which is this little test here. That's 1080. This is fucking 1080 that you're looking at. Like, it looks really good out of the R5. And this is something I'm saying, like, for a lot of people, 1080 still is like, you still want to shoot good 1080, you know? You don't want, like, bad 1080 at all.
Yeah. No, that entirely, because half of the stuff that's going back to why I still do like the Fuji is like, oh yeah, I can shoot 200 megabit per second 1080. I can shoot 200 megabit per second 4K. I can do both, but if I want really good 1080, I can just choose to have really good 1080.
Yeah.
And that's way nicer sometimes.
Yeah. And your files are so much smaller. Yeah. I mean, I think 10 seconds.
Mine, there is no difference in the file size. That's the funny thing. Because I'm still shooting them at the same exact bit rate.
Well, that was the thing someone said earlier.
The file size isn't that, it is different, but it's not as dramatically different as you would think.
It's almost, I think it was in Gerald's review. In the 4K HQ and the 4K normal on the R5 is the same bit rate. It's just there's downsampling going on with the 4K HQ. So that's another thing. Like, I wonder if there is a way to, like, I just wonder how they're going to kind of go about fixing these issues, because I think a lot of it is software based. I think a lot of it is just bloated compression and bloated software issues that are going on in this camera that are just shortening everything. And if you can give certain like alleviations, just 4K 30 oversampled mode, unlimited, that immediately opens up this camera to such a big audience. Because right now they're all looking at the A7S III, and it's stolen all the thunder out of this camera, and this camera's gotten such a for video people. But most people are, at least that are looking at these cameras. You know what I mean?
Well, no, that's why I'm in A7S III camp right now. It's a mini cine cam. It's not there, but it's a hell of a lot closer of just, hey, here's everything I actually want in a camera. But this is where I'm having that harder difficulty too, is where I was bringing up the R. The main reason why I was bringing up the R is there's still that other rumored RF mount camera that might be a C100 or it might be an R or Mark II RP Mark II. If Canon drops an R Mark II and then Sony drops that rumored A5 or an
A7
IV, just a regular 7.4.
Oh yeah, 7.4.
Then it becomes a lot harder for me to justify these cameras.
Oh, for sure.
Either of them, if you're talking pure hybrid. If you're a 50-50 person, it's A7 IV.
Yeah,
Just wait,
for sure.
honestly.
Well, it's supposed to be the R6. It was supposed to be the
Right.
R6.
Right,
They
that
fucked up.
would be the competitor. Is we were hoping it was the R6s. Here's the perfect hybrid.
They fucked it up. They fucked up the R6, and we'll see if they can fix it. If they do, then then I'll probably sell this camera for the R6. Because as much as I do like the 4K 120, I don't ever see that as a deal breaker for me, and I would much rather keep that extra $1,500 and buy another lens with it. Essentially,
Right. It's one of those. If you can get 1080 120 to be good enough, if you're, and I will argue it also depends on your line of work and what you're shooting with it. Like I could see if I'm producing content for a paid gig, I'd probably want the 4K. But if I'm just shooting weddings, they're not gonna fucking notice.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, someone just uploaded an R5 like test video, and it was all in 1080 for a wedding, and it looked pretty soft. But it's just like they're gonna be super happy with that. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna be super happy with that video.
no, like that, especially if you're trying to do like the slow-mo stuff. Like if you're doing slow-mo for YouTube, where it's gonna get compressed to shit, or you're doing it for like wedding stuff like that, like sure, if they went and compared them side by side, they'd tell a difference. But if they're just watching it back, no.
Yeah.
If you're trying to,
They're probably watching it on their phone.
if you're doing a commercial, yeah, I think you can have an argument there where you're gonna blow it up and you're gonna change the image enough that it's gonna actually fucking matter. But for most work cases, it's really nice to have, but I don't count it as like, that's why I want an A7S III. I want an A7S III because of the 12-bit external, the 10-bit, no record limits, etc.
You want it because it doesn't overheat.
Full-size HDMI port.
Yeah, and you want it because it doesn't overheat. That's.
Well, it's part. I mean, the overheating's part of it, but it's the total package. You know what I mean? More than just like, it's that feature. No, like if you actually want to say it's that feature, it's the fucking HDMI port.
That's the deal breaker. That's the big.
Like,
I mean, that's a huge thing.
like
I would love to have a
like
full
that.
HDMI.
Like, do I want good IBIS? Yeah, but I could buy a gimbal. I can't keep replacing my fucking HDMI port and cable every fucking 3 months.
Yeah. So overall, I'm very happy with it right now. We'll see how that goes when the A7S III drops. I'm probably going to get one of those in, and then we'll see where I stay. We'll see where I land. We'll see if this gets any better.
That's fair.
Luckily, I am in a fortunate position where I am invested both in Canon, RF, and Sony E-mount. So,
You still have both. I mean, you still have a shit ton of EF glass.
yeah. So I'm lucky.
Good thing you didn't sell the Sony.
I know. And I might still sell that A7 R3 just because
Yeah.
I don't really need it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, especially
This camera will
yeah.
probably be the overhead camera, and then this one will probably be this camera that we're looking at now. But
right. Yeah, I want to keep it because that is the argument that I've also seen as if you do need 50-50. I don't like that argument, but the argument of like, oh, if you go Sony, you buy the A7S III for video, and then you buy an A7 R4, and it's just like, yeah,
I mean, you could, like, you could, or you could just buy.
But I don't want that for 50-50. Like, sure, it is the best of both worlds, you know what I mean? But like,
You want one camera that does it.
I don't want to lug two cameras around, and if I do want to lug two cameras around, I don't want to spend $8,000 to do that.
Yeah, you don't. That's a little nutty.
Yeah.
Especially when you have an R5 and you do have great hybrids. It's just you're not going to get the top of the line image quality out of it. You know what I mean? You're not getting the best image out of it.
And that's what it's harder for me is because I'm still in the dumb. I didn't go full frame. I actually got all of those nice fancy specs. So now if I don't match them, I'll feel bad.
The spec, and that's another funny thing is like I've seen this play out before, just previously. Like I seen this play out with the EOS R. When it came out, everyone was like, "Oh my god, it's unusable as a 4K camera because of this fucking insane crop on it, and it doesn't have IBIS. There's no reason for anyone to buy this camera over any other camera." But I went for it, and there was a reason why, because there are a lot of ergonomic features that the camera provides. Not just that, but there's an ecosystem that you kind of tap into that I think Canon is doing a really good job with, and I like where Canon is headed in the mirrorless market. So I took a chance on the EOS R, and I think it really paid off because I love the EOS R. I mean, it became my A camera.
In fairness, I think because of that, it's also... and this is why I'm happy with both of these cameras. We actually have competition now, and I think it's forcing Sony to address a lot of those issues that drove people back to Canon too.
Yeah, and they did. I mean, the flip screen being huge, that's a huge ad.
Yeah, flip screen, you actually have menus you can actually fucking use. Yeah. The colors look a lot more improved. Like a lot of those things that everyone quoted of switching back to Canon after they bought the A7 III, they're working on. I wouldn't say they're all fixed yet, personally.
No, but they will be when the A7 IV comes out. I'm telling you, that camera is going to be bomb.
And it's nice seeing both companies actually try.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm happy about.
Yeah, the competition is definitely pushing them through. It's definitely pushing them. Because, I mean, and even Nikon is doing some interesting stuff. They're kind of doing their own thing. They definitely seem more geared. Yeah, they're definitely more geared towards photographers. But, I mean, I love where they're going. I mean, they have the 10-bit. They have a great image. They have great autofocus. I think they have IBIS. The Z series cameras are doing great. It's just they don't kind of get the same coverage just because they don't have the hybridness that Sony and Canon have been bringing. So everyone's
that, but they also don't. They just don't have the mirrorless ecosystem built out yet either.
Yeah,
there's still like Nikon and Canon are still very new to mirrorless, so their ecosystems are nowhere close to say Sony or Fuji or anyone else mirrorless wise.
Yeah.
So sure, you can adapt F-class to it, but like,
look at this IBIS.
I don't want to do that.
This is fucking insane IBIS, dude. The IBIS in this camera is so good.
It is really good. I do wish you could turn it off though.
I think you can. I think I was mistaken. I think you can turn them off. I think you have to turn it all off, essentially. I don't know if you can turn off just the IBIS. I think you have to turn off the lens IBIS, the lens OIS, and then that turns off the IBIS. But
okay,
I don't know.
That's kind of a... I hope that gets changed, personally. Just because I think the IBIS is really good, but that... It's almost too good. Does that make sense?
No.
Oh, well, that's just my that's my personal like opinion. Where like the
no, I know what you mean. It's kind of like
there's times where I want a gimbal shot, but I don't always want a gimbal shot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
No, I think it does a good in between. I think the only time you would want to turn it off is if you put it on a gimbal.
I think it's too. I don't know. I wish I could turn parts of it off because I actually really like just. That was something that I liked about the R is I actually think their image stabilization with lens was actually a better halfway mix of natural walking.
I would argue. I mean? So the way that I did this test is just with the IBIS, and then I did it with the IBIS, OIS, and digital, and then with the IBIS, OIS,
just
and
the
then
IBIS.
enhanced.
Just the IBIS is pretty close there. Yeah.
Yeah. Just the IBIS looks like natural shake. Yeah. And then if you really want to,
if you turn everything on, it's too much for me personally to always use. But hey, that's also nice that you don't have to buy a gimbal.
Yeah, oh for sure. I don't think you need a gimbal with this camera. I mean, this is just hand holding at 105 millimeters with just the IBIS and the optical image stabilization at 100 millimeters, which is fucking insane. I mean, if I did this on my Sony R5, it would look terrible. It would look so bad.
If you do this on any camera that's not Olympus, or Panasonic,
you get like get like this little jitters, and it's the jitters that drive me up a wall personally. I know some people.
The jitters do, but like I don't know that it looks. Yeah, it does look really good. I think if I were to do that, I would have to. It'd be a lot of trial and error to get it to where I want because there is a little bit too much for me, which is a weird thing to say, but that's why I didn't want to buy into Olympus or Panasonic. I don't always want it to be perfect. I do kind of like sometimes there being a natural walk to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you can. I think you could pull that off with the new Canons. I think you could.
Oh yeah, no, you definitely can. It's just
I know what you mean.
I'd
I know
have
what you
to
mean
figure,
with
I'd
the
have to
enhanced
figure out the
mode.
settings.
The enhanced mode is like it glides. It actually glides on the enhanced mode. It's
Yeah, no,
so
once you have,
smooth.
when you have it all turned on, it's a fucking gimbal, and that's awesome. Yeah,
It
but
crops
that's
it
just
too,
not what I want.
unfortunately. But I mean, I would expect a little bit of a crop.
Oh, I'll take a crop. I live in crop world. I'm fine with
Yeah.
a little crop,
Like if you're a vlogger,
especially with, and I still want to figure that out. Someone to test that with the A7S III, because we haven't covered this on this show, but I have a conspiracy. After we watched all this 7S III footage, I think on 1080p the 7S III crops in even more in active mode.
yeah,
because
that's what I think too.
on 1080p the footage, the IBIS,
Or it just has more room.
the IBIS
in
works
the
so
camera.
much more. Yeah,
Yeah,
works so much better than it does in 4K with the
yeah.
crop.
That would make sense if that they're doing that. But I do want to see more. We've
well,
only
it's-
seen that one footage.
Right, because what I'm thinking is it is just cropped into a true 1080 sensor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then you just have all of that more wiggle room.
Yeah, see when I notice about this, like if you're a vlogger, this is definitely an awesome camera for you, or either this or the R6. But the problem is the R6 you run into overheating. The problem is just overall is that you want this image and this IBIS, but you don't want it in this setup because this is fucking heavy.
Yeah.
So I'm walking through the park and I'm doing this, and
Well, no,
after
that's-
5 minutes, I'm like, holy shit, my
Yeah.
arm is killing me, dude.
No, that's why the dream was that the Fuji X-T4 was gonna actually have good IBIS.
Yeah.
Like, cause like, sure, you got to deal with a little crop, but if you get a wide enough lens, it's fine. But I mean, dude, my camera is less than 400 grams with a battery and card in it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the best case scenario. And by the way, your boy got a little bit of a tweet with our boy Philip Bloom here. So when I did my vlogging test, I was like, holy shit, I'm like out of breath. My arm is killing me holding this test. And then I watched his A7S III video and I noticed he was out of breath. So I called him
Yeah.
out on it. And he responded. I said, watching Philip Bloom's vlogging test, I too was out of breath doing my vlogging test on the R5. I know your pain. He said, so annoying. I have a deviated septum, so have only got one nostril working. Makes walking and talking hard, and even worse for face masks. I really need to get it fixed. So I feel your pain, Philip
Yeah.
Bloom.
Oh,
And now I'm
especially
gonna
do all of
next
all
be
of the
Philip
full
Bloom.
frame vlogging tests. I did like to how much he's embraced Casey to the
Yeah.
point of wearing a Tone shirt on every interview.
Has he? I haven't noticed that.
No, you did an interview for the 7S III launch with
It said Tone.
Pro. Yeah, it was Pro Audio. I don't know. It's a UK camera store, like their version of
Pro
P&H.
AV?
I forget the exact name.
Pro
But he
AV?
did like, huh?
Is it Pro AV?
Pro AV, yeah, Pro AV. He did an hour-long interview with them, just in one of fucking Casey's Tone t-shirts.
Yeah.
And if you actually look at some of the footage from that hour-long movie, he is in the Tone t-shirt for like most of it.
The movie he did.
Yeah.
I love how he's leaning into the meme. The
Oh, no,
review
entirely,
of
'cause
Sony
even
A7S
though-
III, the movie.
The entire vlog test, though, that was just him making jokes of like, is this good content? Is this the perfect camera? This is good content, right?
Hey man, I
Wait, and then
appreciate his
even-
vlogging test. I
I know.
definitely need
Then
to
he
look
even
at that
got the
stuff.
fucking music from Casey. That was perfect.
I will say the IBIS on the Sonys is still pretty bad.
Dude, yeah,
It's
is.
still pretty
but it's also
bad.
like all
It's almost
over the place.
non-existent.
I don't
Yeah,
get
yeah,
it.
it is all over the place. The active mode looks okay.
Well, no, and the other thing with active mode is like, depending on the glass, it looks really good. But
Yeah.
then when he switches it to the 20 mil prime with active on, it goes back to being trash.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so
Like that.
shaky.
Yeah, like I don't get it where it's so dependent even on the lens choice too of just like, okay, nope, here it looks really good, here it looks bad, but then if you switch it to 1080p, it's really good.
Now my theory
I don't
is,
fucking get it.
do you think Sony did that on purpose? It's the only thing that this camera could improve on. The only thing is the IBIS. Everything else is perfect. The only thing they could have improved on is the IBIS, and then it would be perfect. 10 out of 10 video hybrid.
I think
camera.
you could have a conspiracy there because if it was that, then why would you buy an FX9 if you just buy 3 A7S IIIs?
Yeah, why would you buy any other camera ever? You know what I mean?
Or and especially because not even the FX9. You could still the FX9 is actually never mind. There's definitely reasons to buy an FX9 over a couple of A7S IIIs, even if it had good IBIS. But Sony's definitely still working on an FX7 and an FX5. If this camera has good IBIS, why are you going to buy an FX5?
Why would you buy it anyway? That's kind of what I'm trying to think about. I mean, what else would it have?
Yeah, I know it's hard because what a lot of people are hoping is the instead of the FS5 III, they make a full frame FS5, and it's literally just the A7S III in a proper body.
Yeah, and a body that you can't just hold like this. You have to shoulder it and everything.
No, like that's basically what I've seen a lot of people hope for there to make an FX5, $5,000, A7S III, and a cine body. Then that's literally all it is.
Yeah.
And that thing would still sell like hotcakes, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to say that they sabotaged it on purpose, but Sony's IBIS has always kind of been like that. They say it's improved, but I don't think it's improved at all. From what I've seen.
I don't know how much they can improve it without cropping it more, which to me, I think they could even crop it a little bit more and I'd be fine with it, but that's me personally. The biggest reason with making it hard is just how tiny fucking E-mount is, basically.
Yeah, it's all right.
Like, E-mount is so small, they don't have a lot of room to play with.
Yeah. It's still a badass camera. I can't wait to get one. I'm definitely getting an A7S III.
I'm going to eventually get one. I don't think I'm going to buy one right away.
I'll probably rent it and then see how much I like it compared to the R5. Because who knows, anything can change from now until that launches, until I can even get one of those. I don't know if I'm going to pre-order that camera.
I don't think we can get one till Christmas at this point, dude. If you haven't already pre-ordered it, it's gone.
Nah, I didn't pre-order it. Nope. But I'll call Cardinal Camera. Maybe they'll have one.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have one.
Feel like, hey, I'll give you this R5 for it.
He called me for a grip too. He was like, hey, we just got grips in. I know you want one. And I was like, how much is it? Oh, $400? Oh, I'll skip that one for now.
Yeah. No, I mean, the thing that I'm really most interested in, honestly, is rumors of a Sony A5 and what is going to be the A7 IV, and if Canon actually does make an RP or an R Mark II or an RP,
or fix the R6,
or fix the R6, yeah. Like those are the things I'm most interested in. If they fix the R6, that's probably my front runner.
Yeah.
If
they fix the R6, I'll sell the R5 and go. I don't know if I'll sell it, but I wanted the R6.
Yeah.
I definitely wanted the R6. The only reason I got it is because
it overheats.
Yeah, the R6 overheating is unacceptable to me.
I'm not doing
at least just in 30.
I'm not doing IPB for it to overheat. I'm not spending $3,000 on IPB for an overheating camera. That's how I feel.
They fucked up hard on the R6, man. And I'm not carrying a Ninja around all the time because that's not what a hybrid is.
And then
otherwise I just buy
the other thing is, okay, so you can get away with using the R6 and the Ninja. Cool, that's the price of an A7S III.
Yeah, it's the price of an A7S III, and you lose out on 120. And you have to carry a fucking Ninja all the
within a couple $100 of the R5. You're like having to use that Ninja puts it into a price bracket of,
and like Ninjas,
why not just buy the better camera in the first place?
Yeah, and with a Ninja, it's like they're nice and all, but like you have to carry batteries with it. You have to carry like other things. Like it's not just the Ninja by itself. You know what I mean?
If you're trying to use a mic, you have to mount it differently, so you have to cage it.
The same thing if you're using it on a gimbal. You have to have different. Yep. I mean, it's a whole thing with it. It's nice to have for sure, and it's great to have all that stuff. But I'm not gonna get a camera where you have to use that if you ever want to shoot video. You know, and 35 minutes is not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough time, especially when it gets eaten into that time. They'll fix it. I'm sure. I'm hopeful they'll fix it.
I hope so, because if they don't, the A7 IV is going to kill it.
Yeah. Yeah, then they're going to have real big trouble.
And if all of these
maybe they're conspiring.
A5 rumors are coming true, they might kill the RP line too, because I do know the RP is popular in its own way.
Oh, for sure. Everyone in that group loves the RP.
And that's why I want the RP. I think the RP is actually my secret love child of the camera. I wish was actually good for video, because that's perfect. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if Sony releases their version of an RP for like the same price, and it has a flippy screen and it doesn't crop, and you can color match it, I'd hopefully 10-bit external. But if it has a flippy screen, the new menus, and you can color match it to an A7S III.
You know what though?
That's a pretty compelling pickup for a small, cheap little camera that you can use as a B cam.
Yeah.
And it would probably be 20 megapixels. There's your second walk around photo cam.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Especially if it's tiny like the A600 style bodies.
I wonder when
like
that's
my Fuji.
rumored to come out. That's the problem that Canon has that Sony doesn't have. Sony releases a body like every year. You know, the A7S III has been like a little unicorn for a while, but they've released the A7 III in the meantime, which has been like the best selling hybrid ever.
And then they had a 7R4, then they had a 6600 and a 6400.
They had a 7R3 and then a
6100.
7R4 and then all this. I mean, it's like every year there's a fucking new thing.
This has been the weird year where Sony hasn't released a camera until
Right.
the 7S3 this year yet.
Yeah. Canon, they compete against that. I mean, it's really tough for them. It's really tough for them. And I think that they really knocked it out of the park with these cameras. They just need to fix that overheating issue in just one mode. Just 4K 30. That's it. 4K 30 on the oversampled 5.1K on the R6, and then in the HQ. I mean, I don't even care too much about that on the R5.
It's a fantastic. If you can just keep recording with it and you give me that's all I wanted, dude.
Oh, by the way, I've been also tweeting at Canon every day for today's day 3 to remove the 30-minute time limit from the camera. They have this antiquated thing about this tax. There's no tax anymore. It doesn't exist. There's this arbitrary, antiquated time limit that they have in these cameras. So please join me in tweeting at them every day. I promise you, they'll remove it. They did it with 24 frames. If everyone just gets on board, they'll do
add
it.
on to that tweet also all eye on the R6.
Yes, that as well.
Because
Yeah.
I mean,
Supposedly that is coming 100%.
That's all the rumors, and I'm hopeful because Canon's.
I don't think you
Canon
need
over
all
the
eye
last
though.
year-
I really don't think you need all eye.
I don't think you do either, but for me, I do. I can tell. Like this.
I don't think you can.
I could tell. Oh, I could. Yeah, I.
Do you want? Should we do a comparison of like a blind comparison? That would be great content, actually. I'm gonna do that.
But you would have to give me. You'd actually have to send me raw.
I will.
Raw
I'll send you raw files.
Okay, yeah.
I will. I'll do that.
Then that could be interesting. But like at least when it starts getting compressed on YouTube, yeah, I fucking notice.
I don't think you can, but I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do that test. I haven't really done it where I'll film some charts and stuff. I'll film some motion.
Trust me, I'll break out this other second monitor that bands like crazy. I'll fucking notice.
I think that would be great content though, because I can't tell when I uploaded. When I was looking at the footage, editing it, I was like, oh, there's just no difference. It's just less file storage. There's no difference.
That's fair. In the Canon, there might be a little bit harder, but for like, it's one of those things where it's like it's not so much that I need the spec difference, but it is still just like, but my $800 Fuji can do it.
Yeah.
So why am I spending $2,500?
No, I hear you. I mean,
Fuji can do
there's
it.
definitely a difference in what's going on, like technically. But I'm curious to know if it's actually visibly noticeable, because I can't really notice it. I think it also
depends. This is the other thing I've noticed too is you're gonna if you want to do that, we're gonna have to
especially in the HQ mode, it's almost impossible to tell.
Oh well, yeah, in the HQ, no shit. That I can agree with. I'm talking straight IPB, like make it like it's an R6. I think you'll be able to tell the difference.
Yeah,
or IPB.
I did HQ mode, but I also did non-HQ.
No, the thing that I'm thinking though is what you'll have to do a bunch of different shooting differences. Because I'll agree with you that like if you're just doing it in studio, it's a lot harder to tell a difference. But like,
no, I'm gonna do graphs. I'll do some charts, like those just like image charts. I'll do some motion.
Do that, but also go out in low light. Like
yeah, I'll do
all
low
of that
light.
Is what I mean.
I'll do low light.
Shoot water, like a river.
Okay.
Shit like that. You know what I mean? Like
I'm gonna do it.
let's
I think that would be
let's
great
really,
content.
Really test that. Sure.
I think that would be great content.
Because and maybe it'll be proved.
Because when I did this, I was like, why
don't-
am I shooting in all eye? Like, what is the benefit of all eye? I don't think, especially when it goes up on YouTube, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
And you get a third. I mean, it's a third of the file size. It's so much smaller. You can't tell an HQ mode either.
Look for though is you're gonna that's the hardest part about a lot of those tests too though is because your lighting starts changing, and then like you start noticing there's like a weird difference in the harshness of lights for me, especially when I take it on my shitty monitor, the bands. You can tell a difference in the harshness of lighting.
No, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this test.
But yeah, no, for most cases, I don't think it actually matters. It's just one of those, come on, dude. Like, please just have it.
No, I know what you mean. For sure. I mean,
think
there's
there
a
is
clear
still
file
situation-
difference. There's a clear data difference.
Right. And I think there's still clips where it definitely does make a difference. But, hey, man, I don't know. Maybe I'll wait for this A5 bullshit. And when that fails me, I'll wait for the A7 R4 or A7 IV. And then when that fails me, I'll keep waiting.
Yeah.
No. The A5 intrigues me. If they can color match that to an A7S III, that's probably what I'm going to buy first. Just because with either of these cameras, I wanted the cheaper model to be good. Because I also have to re-buy into RF or E-mount.
Yeah, that's the
which
tough
makes
position.
all of these purchases more like $5,500.
I know
$3,000.
and that's the tough. Like, see, the thing is like
if I can
this
get a
review
camera
is a
that
lot
can
more
match it-
easier for me because I'm already invested halfway in Sony, halfway in Canon.
Right.
It
Oh, no,
sucks
that's-
if you're
that's-
not invested in either. It makes the decision so much harder.
That's why I wish the RP didn't suck.
I know.
Because I would buy an RP in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? Of just like, cool, here's an RP. I can eventually match it to an R6 or an R5 because color-wise it's easy to grade and match. That I can buy the low end so while I build up the glass, then buy the camera I actually want.
Yeah.
If Sony lets me do that option too, I'll be a happy boy and I'll probably do that route. Because right now I could buy both of these cameras right now and be happy. But
Yeah.
it's still a pandemic and I'm not going to rush out to spend $3,000 on glass and then another $4,000 on a camera right now.
Yeah, that's another thing
Especially
too.
if I can do it for an A5 or an RP.
You know, that's something that I kind of maybe I'll touch on this on my review, but it's like there's been so much like controversy around the R5, and when I'm using it, I'm just like, I think anyone would love this camera. I really do. I think anyone would be very, very happy with this camera, except for small niche scenarios. And I don't think people are in those scenarios are even looking at this camera. Someone that needs unlimited
I agree
4K
with that.
60.
I think the harder point is that there's now competition and it's the price.
Yeah.
Like that's the hard thing for me is like every situation where this camera sounds really great to me, I'm sitting here going, but the R.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. I mean, that's another point too. It's like the same with the R, right? The same thing with the R. The same thing kind of happened with the R. It's like I think anyone would be happy with the R. In fact, I think the R. Some people would be more happy with the R than the other offerings that were available on the market at the time. You know, now it's a different time. There's different like standards, I guess, that we all kind of want to see in a camera. But depending on if you go with the R5 or the A7S III and you shoot both photo and video, you're going to be happy with either of them. I mean, you're going to be more than happy with either of them. There's no question there. It's just like we're getting like there's so much like
well, there's a lot more scrutiny because it's a lot more of a price.
A lot more scrutiny.
This is a lot harder than like, oh well, it's a $2,000 USR or A7 III.
Yeah.
Like that's at a price point where it's like, okay, cool. I'm not spending $5,000 on a Cine Cam. But when we're talking about doubling that price, it's the same thing with the Panasonic SH1. I love that camera. I think that camera's amazing. But there's a lot of scrutiny because that's a lot of money to pay for no autofocus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I think the price weighs heavily into why so many people are pointing out the flaws because it's double the price of the R and your image quality is the R.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
And then with the A7S III, sounds really great, but then also it fucking better because again, it's also a $4,000 camera, but now you still have shitty IBIS. I
Yeah.
wish
And you lose photo.
you actually
you
had-
lose a whole shooting mode. You
Yeah.
lose out on all photographers on that camera. So it's like we're still
Oh, yeah.
waiting for the perfect fucking camera. These aren't it. These aren't the
Right.
perfect cameras.
but
This
they're
is
pretty
close.
They're a hell of a lot closer.
This is close. This is the closest thing we've gotten so far. And then when the A7S III comes out for video, that's going to be pretty fucking close too. But we're still we're still waiting, man. It's been years. It's been 6 years since I've been waiting for this type of camera. And I think we're still going to be waiting for it forever. There's
yeah.
always going to be something. There's no way they can make a perfect camera.
I've just accepted that I'm gonna have 3 cameras for the rest of my life, basically. Like,
Oh, well, why do you think I have so many fucking cameras, dude?
yeah, I
They're
know.
all fucking
No, I know.
so annoying. I just want one. I want one that does it all. You know, I've been looking at PTZ cameras. You know what PTZ cameras are?
Yeah, I don't care.
I kind of want a couple of them for the studio.
Yeah, that's fair. They could be, I mean, it could be interesting. I don't want a studio camera at the moment, so I already have a studio camera basically in the Fuji because if I touch it, it explodes. Not really. It's still a great camera. It just life without IBIS and image stabilization is fun.
No, it is not fun. It is not a
Because
fun life.
I mostly shoot manual vintage glass. Like that's what I
Oh,
shoot the
man,
most.
that's definitely
Yeah, so
definitely
it's-
fun.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
definitely a challenge. Hey, at least you're good at manually focusing now. You're probably better than most. You'd be surprised at
hope.
the amount of people that aren't good at focusing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm used to it because, like, well, I've come back to the cameras in the last couple of years. Like, way back in the day, that's all I used to ever do. Like, here, 1 second. Like, I'm going to grab this.
Jerry's grabbing something. He's on his way.
Okay, there we go. Still got it, by the way.
There it is.
The old D30, the first ever DSLR from Canon. 3.2 megapixels, baby.
I can't believe you still have that. That's awesome.
Yeah. With
What
the
is-
weirdest fucking 35 to 80 kit lens.
35 to 80?
35 to 80.
I didn't even know they made that.
35 to 80. 4 to 5.6.
Dude, you should just film with that, man. Does it even take video at all?
No, it's the first DSLR from like 2004-ish.
Is that a
No,
battery
it's-
door on the bottom? Like that twisting thing? No.
Twisting
The one, yeah, that thing. What is that?
Dude,
Is
I
that like a
can't
film
remember.
canister?
Oh yeah, no, it's a CR. It's a regular CR25 backup battery, like a CMOS battery, or like
Like a watch
key fob
battery?
Yeah, it's a watch. No, entirely, exactly.
That's fucking
It's
amazing.
a backup watch
I
battery.
can't believe you have one of those.
No, that's to keep your. That's what keeps your settings for when your battery dies.
I can't believe you fucking have one of those. How much did that
Oh, yeah,
cost?
I can't remember. And yeah,
That battery
It's
probably
still-
lasts more than anything on the market right now.
still right there.
That camera probably shoots 5,000 shots before it dies.
No. I mean, it's a nice. It's still, but yeah, no. So I'm used to taking photos. I'm used to taking, having to pull my own focus. That's
Yeah.
not like a new world to me. So that's why I'm fine with manual. I like it. But yeah, it's hard sometimes.
Yeah.
And this is also why I never want to go back to DSLR. This thing's still fucking. I could kill someone with this.
I love that. Yeah, the R5 is a chunky little bitch. It's definitely heavier than the EOS R. All right, let's wrap this up. You'll see my overall review on the R5. I think maybe next week. I still want to finish my overheating stuff. I'm really putting it through its paces, and I want to film like a bunch of like actual footage, like actual. I want to film something before I
That's fair.
do a review on it. But you'll see more.
I've been doing more filming lately, but I keep fucking up, honestly.
No, you have to do that video. I want to see. Jerry is working on lighting video, which actually is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm working on a couple, but then my computer's slowly dying, so when I'm mid editing, I just get frustrated and then stop. And now all my grades lately have been trash because I just get like okay, I'm fucking done. I don't care anymore, and I need to actually go back and fix them. But then the other thing too is the last 2 times I completely, while I do normally do everything manual, I forgot and I thought I was in auto ISO and I wasn't. So yeah, my exposures. Yeah.
And there's no flip screen, right?
Nope.
Yeah. I've been there.
So yeah,
All right, well,
definitely fucked up some exposure later.
take your time. There's no rush. I do want to see that video because that's a good idea. It actually, it plays more. It's more relevant now than I think ever, with like all these specs being thrown out. It's like you can buy this R5, you can buy the A7S III, and you can still have a terrible, shitty image that anyone can beat you with a camera, you know, an eighth of the price.
Here, 1 sec. Here.
There it is. There it is. That thing's fucking awesome, dude. We have to see a video on it. We have to see a video on it. It works surprisingly well.
That is literally all that I'm using for lighting right now.
And sure, it's a fire hazard, but we all have fire hazards.
I have a second one I built underneath lighting
The
up
rim
the flag.
light.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm in a completely black room.
Yes, and that's a bit. Yeah, I want to see this video from you. I think it'll be.
I know.
very
I just
pertinent.
gotta stop fucking it up. That's all.
Take your time, no rush. All right, everyone, that's it for this week's episode. Catch you guys later. Make sure you subscribe over at No Life Digital on YouTube. We're almost at 700 subscribers. This R5 stuff has gotten a little bit of a bump, so I'm going to keep that momentum going. Let's try to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the summer, we'll say. I'll give myself the end of the summer to get to 1,000, then I'll be happy boy. And then other than that, make sure you're tuning in every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
And if I release enough videos on that channel to earn $500 by Christmas, I'll buy a 7S III.
Yeah, let's get them. Let's get them up there. All right, guys.
That was my goal for the end of the year.
There we go. I like it. We all have goals. All right, I gotta go eat. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.